the great wave of magical technology. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51, The Shocking Truth. Sakadin, you don't have to be so pessimistic. After I become a god, I will definitely cancel the master-servant contract between you and me and let you regain your freedom. Haha, becoming a god is not as simple as you think. Do you think he is just drinking cold water? Ever since the god of creation sealed the Kuska continent, no one has become a god on the Kuska continent for tens of thousands of years. Moreover, gods cannot directly descend to this world with their divine bodies. Why did the god of creation seal the Kuska continent? How should I know about the affairs of the Lord God of Creation? By the way, what was Patrick Needham planning back then? Did he really ignite his own divine fire? Bullshit about igniting the divine fire. She was just a poor thing who was deceived back then. From the beginning to the end, that sacrificial array was not an array for igniting the divine fire. What? It's not used to ignite the divine fire. Then what is it? Although the gods have no way to send their divine bodies to this world, they have also created a way to communicate with the believers in this world. The magic circle was passed down by the gods through their believers, and the function of the magic circle is to use the power of sacrifice to open a passage to and from the realm of gods. Is this preparing to allow his believers to ascend to the realm of gods? Boy, you think too much. How can a mortal body ascend to the realm of gods? Before reaching the realm of gods, it has been reduced to ashes. Then what is this? God's descent. The gods sent their avatars to this world, and that poor believer became his carrier, losing his consciousness forever. Then was God's descent successful? Successful? What? You mean Patrick Needham is still alive? Why haven't I heard of him before? Does it mean that he died again in the future? The successful person may not be him. I told you at the beginning that Patrick Needham is just a poor guy. What the hell is going on? Yunfan was even more confused. The believer of the god didn't have the ability to complete the sacrifice back then, so he found Patrick Needham. Patrick Needham was too strong, and he went a step further. The believer didn't tell Patrick Needham the complete magic circle back then, so Patrick Needham alone couldn't complete the sacrifice. Patrick Needham was distraught and thought he had failed, but no one expected that the believer would appear in front of him at this time and complete the magic circle. The believer was full of hope that he could ignite the divine fire and become a real god. You should have expected the final result. The believer's body was occupied by the god, and in order to hide it all, the god killed everyone here including Patrick Needham. This, Yunfan was stunned for a moment. It was just like the plot in Infernal Affairs. So is that god still alive in this world? Yes, and he has become the most powerful person in the world now. You mean the Pope of the Holy See? The god who is said to be closest to light? Are you saying that he is actually a god? Yunfan suddenly stopped in his tracks. This explosive news made Yunfan feel his head numb. Amy was also a little absent-minded now and accidentally bumped into Yunfan. Why did you stop suddenly? Sorry, I just thought of something. What did you think of? Nothing. These things have nothing to do with you. You'd better not know. You are always so annoying. No matter what you say, you always say half and leave the other half. I'm not going to pay attention to you. Amy turned her face away, seeming a little angry. The current pope. Did you make a mistake? No, he has only been on the throne for more than 20 years. This incident happened thousands of years ago. Although there is no body, the soul of the gods is immortal. It's just a change of body. It's no big deal. Sakadin said without seeming to care. The whole laboratory is so big that Yunfan and Amy have been wandering around in it for a whole day. However, as time goes by, Yunfan has almost understood the structure of this laboratory with the guidance of Sakadin. At this time, in front of a stone castle in the ruins, many powerful adventurers gathered here. Many captains of the adventurer teams are a little depressed. They came to the ruins to adventure, and they have lost a lot of elites before they got anything. I don't know what the situation is with Amy and now. Amelia looked at the adventurers not far away and couldn't help saying, "Don't think about it. Those two civilian ghosts are probably dead a long time ago. Bennett walked to Amelia's side and said with disdain, "Bennett, shut up. If you dare to say bad things about my brother again, I will kill you right now." Kim drew the sword from his waist and glared at Bennett. "Kim, what are you crazy about? They are just civilians," Bennett shouted angrily. "No matter what kind of person my brother is, I won't allow you to say bad things about him. And my brother is such a capable person, nothing will happen to him. This is already a fact. They fell into that trap for so long. Even if they had the earth bear with them, the level of that earth bear was too low, and it couldn't help at all," Bennett said with a smile. Thinking of how he thought he was humiliated by Yunfan, he felt an indescribable pleasure in his heart. Yunfan made him lose face, and this hatred was irreconcilable, but it was a pity for Amy, that little bitch. "Asshole." Kim glared at Bennett. "If you were not my teammate now, I would kill you right now. Do you believe it? Get out. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." Bennett opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but seeing Kim's ferocious expression, he smiled faintly, shrugged, and walked away. Henry looked at Bennett's back as he left and couldn't help but frown deeply. This kid is really messing around. If he continues like this, something will happen sooner or later. I really don't know how the Chancellor of the Exchequer taught his son. It seems that, after we get out, I need to remind the Chancellor of the Exchequer. Chapter 52. Avel's team evacuates. Someone has entered the castle now. Someone suddenly shouted, and almost all the adventurers were shocked. What? Who on earth could enter the castle under the layers of protection of the Pegasus Knights? It's an assassin thief who has reached the level of Sky Knight. An assassin thief at the level of Sky Knight. It seems that the top leaders of the Peak Thieves Association have also joined in. The treasure is probably almost certain. Then what are we waiting for? How many people are there in the Pegasus Knights? How can they stop so many of us? Let's all rush in together. Someone suddenly shouted, and many adventurers felt hope and excitement. That's right, this brother is right. If we rush in together, they can kill us all and tire them to death. Don't go in there anymore, Henry said to Princess Avril and the others seriously. But, there is no but, Swallis, you take them away now, tell His Majesty what happened here, and ask him to send the Magic Corps and the Knights to help. Henry turned his eyes to Swallis and said in a tone that was almost commanding, "Henry, you old man, won't you retreat with us?" "Swallis, things are out of our control now. God knows what is here. I must figure out everything here for the Empire. Well, you must promise that I will be back soon." Swallis gritted his teeth. "You follow me and leave now," Swallis shouted in a deep voice. He was a decisive person and knew that it was useless to wait here. It was the best choice to send these burdens away first and then go back to find Dante and Amy. "I hope they are still alive. I'll stay and wait for my brother." Kim thought for a while and said, his eyes were full of sadness. He would never leave until Dante arrived. "This is not the land of your berserkers. If you come here for any good or bad, do you want to cause the Empire and the berserkers to go to war because of you? Well, I'm willing to leave with you, but you must promise me that you must rescue my brother." "Sir Deacon, the Empire's Princess Avril and the other little guys have left." "Left? That's a good thing. Although we are not afraid of the Nurgle Empire, it is not a good thing to be targeted by an empire. In fact, Sir Deacon, you don't have to think so much. As long as our plan can succeed this time, Ashian's A Church will become the next Holy See. How dare a small empire disobey us? What you said is alright, but now we are not yet fully grown, so it's better to keep a low profile. Get ready. I think the bishops will be here soon, and the plan is ready to be implemented." Yunfan and the others didn't know what happened in the City of Ruins. "Dante, where is the way out?" Amy asked. They had been looking for 3 or 4 days, but still couldn't find a way out. "Sakan, how far is the space door you mentioned?" Yunfan's patience was almost exhausted. "Don't worry, the space door will be there soon, but I have to remind you that the space door is actually damaged and needs to be repaired before it can be used." "Damaged? If it wasn't broken, those people wouldn't be trapped inside." "Sakan, do you mean we will be trapped here?" "That's not necessarily the case. As long as you can repair the space door, isn't it very easy to get out?" "What? Repairing the space door? Are you kidding?" "Don't worry, you have a rare space physique, and with my guidance, repairing the space door is not a difficult task. I hope so. The way out is just ahead. How can you be so sure that the way out is just ahead? You should have never been to this place before. Are you saying these words just to comfort me? It's right here. Yunfan looked at the distance and suddenly spoke. What? Amy's eyes still looked in the direction Yunfan was looking at. In front of them, there stood a stone gate, which looked like the one they had teleported in. It's the stone gate. We can finally be teleported out. If I stay here any longer, I will definitely be driven crazy. Amy said happily. Don't be too happy too soon. The stone gate in front of us has been damaged. I'm afraid it has lost its original teleportation ability. If we can repair it well. How could this be? This is impossible. How do you know that the stone gate is broken when it is so far away? Are you kidding me? Hope was right in front of her, and Yunfan's words were like a basin of cold water poured on her. Let's not talk about this now. When we get closer, we will know if what I said is true. Yunfan seemed very confident on the surface, but in fact, he was very uncertain in his heart. After saying that, Yunfan walked away. Amy opened her mouth, not knowing what to say or how to comment. Yunfan acted like a demon when he came here. Why did he seem to know everything? Yunfan gently pushed the stone door with his hand. Although the stone door was opened, it did not appear to be teleported away. Sure enough, this thing has been damaged. What should we do now? Amy asked, somewhat at a loss. Don't worry, the teleportation array on the teleportation gate is not damaged. The reason why I can't be used now is that there is no energy in the magic stone originally used to activate the magic array. Under the guidance of Sakadan, Yunfan quickly checked the entire space door and then said, okay, you step back now and wait behind. Yunfan took out a few magic stones from the laboratory from the space ring while speaking. Magic stone is a special magic material. It is a crystal composed of a large number of magic elements. It has very high magic ductility and magic forging characteristics. It is widely used in alchemy. It can be used to refine magic potions, weapons, and some magic arrays. Amy looked at Yunfan busy there and couldn't help but be a little crazy. She felt that staying with Yunfan was so safe, and this feeling made her feel at peace. Chapter 53, Taboo Magic Circle Undead Scourge. Now that everyone who should leave has left, we should start implementing our plan. The black-clad butler smiled coldly and waved to the other black-clad men around him. Just as the others eagerly entered the castle, a strange blood-colored magic array suddenly lit up, and then everyone felt a very strong suction force. Many adventurers lost their strength in an instant, and they all felt their strength slipping away. Damn it, what is going on? Is this a trap? After the strength of some weaker adventurers was lost, their blood also flowed in the direction of the strength loss. Almost in an instant, they all died suddenly. An extremely terrifying shadow instantly filled the hearts of everyone. As long as the adventurers were alive, they almost had an idea in their hearts at the same time, that is, to escape. Staying here will definitely die. This is not a treasure at all. All the adventurers rushed out and wanted to escape from here. At this time, a large number of black-clad men blocked the retreat of the adventurers. The Scourge Church. Someone shouted, and almost all the adventurers were disappointed. If they still didn't realize that the Scourge Church was causing trouble, then they would have wasted all these years. The Scourge Church, no matter what you want to do, please get out of the way. Otherwise, we will be rude to you. Several powerful adventurer leaders looked at the black-clothed man in front of them angrily and said coldly, how can you be rude to us? It's not certain whether you can survive this. The black-clothed butler said with a cold smile. What do you want to do, Scourge Church? We admit that your power is very strong, but it is not a wise move to target so many of our forces at once. Do you want to make enemies with the world? As long as we complete this plan, what does it matter if we make enemies with the world? You are really crazy. If I can escape this time, I will definitely kill all of you from Scourge Church. I will also order the members of my adventure group to list Scourge Church as their mortal enemy. Our warrior association will do the same. And our thieves guild. Our alchemy association will not let you go either. What other forces are there? Why don't you tell us one by one? Let us know how many people we have offended. The black-clothed butler sneered. Are you from Scourge Church crazy? Who gave you such courage? You dare to offend so many forces at once. Some members of the top forces asked in horror. We dare to offend so many forces, so we are not afraid of your counterattack. Moreover, even if you want to retaliate, you must be able to escape first. The black-clothed butler had a contemptuous look on his face, not taking the people of these forces seriously at all. Only you can stop all of us. Can you stop joking? Some leaders of the forces seemed to have heard some jokes and disdained the words of the black-clothed butler. It seems that you still don't know what this place is and what is arranged here. How did the Zul Empire disappear back then? The black-clothed butler said with a slightly raised corner of his mouth and a hint of sarcasm. What? Some members of the top forces felt a little uneasy when they heard the words of the black-robed butler. What happened here back then? The once glorious Zul Empire was destroyed in an instant. Did you do everything back then? We didn't do anything back then, but we know who did it. You probably don't know that everything back then was done by the Holy See. You from the Church of the Calamity, stop spreading rumors here to confuse the public. How could a Holy See save people and save the world and do such a cruel thing? As talents trained by the Holy See, the members of the Pegasus Knights have an extraordinary faith in the Holy See. How could they bear to hear someone dare to slander the Holy See? A group of pathetic guys who don't even know what kind of existence the Holy See they are in is. The black-robed butler shook his head and sneered. Respected captain of the Pegasus Knights, as a powerful titled Sky Knight, Leo, I think you should not bother to lie. What kind of organization is the Holy See? You can tell your subordinates. You who are from the Scourge Church, don't waste your energy here. Your plan to delay time will not work with me. Leo, the captain of the Pegasus Knights of the Holy See, snorted coldly and then gave an order. All Pegasus Knights obey my orders. Deploy attack formations. Charge. After Leo gave the order to his subordinates, he looked around and said, and if you want to live, rush out with us. Although I don't know what the Scourge Church's plan is, it is definitely not possible to stay here all the time. So I decided to rush out with Leo, the captain of the Pegasus Knights of the Holy See. Yes, we will follow Lord Leo too. Many adventurers expressed their opinions. Since everyone has decided, let's rush out together. Leo said as he drew out his sword, and milky white fighting spirit surged out. Lord Leo, why do you want to lead these people to resist? Isn't it better to be a sacrifice to my god? The black-clothed butler looked very disappointed. In this case, why don't you sacrifice yourselves? Leo said coldly. Since you are so ignorant, it's time to show the true strength of our Scourge Church. Activate the summoning array of the other world. As soon as the black-clothed butler's words fell, the black-clothed people following him took action one by one, and inserted the magic props in their hands into the ground. In an instant, all the magic props lit up one by one, and connected into a whole. In the center of these props, a dark vortex suddenly appeared. Then one skeleton after another drilled out of the still dark vortex, followed by the corpse demon, and then the dark knight, and various undead creatures drilled out of the vortex. Forbidden Magic Circle, Undead Scourge. Chapter 54 Sacrifice Yourself. Although the level of the undead summoned by the Scourge of the Dead was not too high, the number was too astonishing. Thousands of undead emerged from the vortex. Most of them had no consciousness. Perhaps because they were once living beings, they now hated living beings very much. These undead and adventurers had already started fighting. For a while, fighting spirits flew everywhere, magic was everywhere, and the grey deathly aura filled the entire space, making all the living beings feel very depressed. Gradually, more and more adventurers died, and the blood dyed the entire land red. If you look closely, you will find that the blood actually gathered together and flowed towards the castle. The battle became more and more intense, and even several members of the Pegasus Knights had been killed. Almost all adventurers fell into fear again. They had heard of the forbidden magic of the Scourge of the Dead in the past, but they did not expect it to be so terrifying. As long as these natural disaster associations exist, unless their magic power is completely exhausted, there will be undead creatures summoned from the alien world one after another. Now everyone should try not to care about these undead creatures. Our target is those guys from the Natural Disaster Church. After this person's reminder, everyone woke up, as if from a dream. Kill. Go to hell. Divine light slash. Perhaps because of the death of his men, Leo has completely entered the furious mode at this moment. His fighting spirit is like a turbulent sea, and he slashed at those people from the natural disaster church. The golden fighting spirit drew an arc in the air and fell straight on a man in black. The man in black fell to the ground and died in an instant. Damn it. As the man in black fell, the black vortex suddenly became extremely unstable, and it seemed that it might collapse at any time. Hurry up and fill the gap, otherwise, once our formation stops running, it will be very dangerous. The black-clothed deacon said seriously. I don't care what you are planning now. Let everyone go now. My knight commander, you are too whimsical. Well, since you choose to die, then I will grant your wish. The fighting spirit of Captain Leo surged out again, and the momentum of the fighting spirit was much stronger than the last time. The two members of the Black Calamity Church were engulfed by the fighting spirit of Captain Leo in an instant. Very good, Captain Leo, you are worthy of the title of Sky Knight. Go. Leo ignored the words of the black-clad butler and pulled the reins in his hand hard. The Pegasus he was sitting on neighed and rushed towards the direction of the black-clad butler. Seeing this situation, the black-clad butler's face instantly became very ugly. Although he was not weak, he was much worse than the Sky Knight. Once he faced Leo, he basically had no chance of winning, and might even lose his life. Dark God who sees through the world, take my faith as a contract, lend me eternal power, complete the invincible spell, and block everything before me. Dark God's blessing. As the black-clothed butler finished the spell, a tall figure appeared behind him. The figure was tall and full of mystery, as if looking down on all living things. It turned out that seeing that Leo had already killed him, the black-clothed butler could not care much, and released the highest level of the 7th level defensive magic that he could release, the Dark God's blessing. According to common sense, the mysterious figure behind him should be the God of Darkness or his clone. Holy one word slash. The blow filled with Leo's full strength directly hit the mysterious black shadow. Seeing that the black shadow trembled violently in an instant, people vaguely heard angry roars, as if saying, you, the blasphemer, will be punished by me. The whole situation was really chaotic. People seemed to have heard the call of the God of Death. No one wanted to die like this, so they resisted more fiercely. After all, there is strength in numbers, and the magic power of these scourge churches is not infinite. After several hours of fierce fighting, the magic power of the Scourge Church has been stretched to its limit. Brothers, everyone, work harder. They have no magic power left, and can't hold on for much longer. As long as we can rush out, we can catch them all in one fell swoop. Damn it, it's been so long. Why haven't the bishops come yet? I don't want to die here like this. The black-clothed deacon cursed fiercely in his heart. Just when everyone thought they could rush out, suddenly another team appeared from a distance. Everyone involuntarily forgot to go to that team. When everyone saw the flag of that team, they all breathed a sigh of relief. It was the cross flag of the Holy See, representing the arrival of the Holy See reinforcement. Haha, Scourge Church, I'm afraid you are really going to be finished this time. Our Holy See reinforcement are here. Damn it, what are the bishops doing? The black-clothed deacon had a hint of anger in his expression. I never thought that you would do such a thing that angers the heavens and the people. Today, the Holy Church will enforce justice on behalf of the heavens, and kill all of you filthy and lowly bugs. A white-haired old man in a golden robe said in a deep voice. Sir, we are surrounded now. What should we do? A man in black asked the black-clothed deacon with a pale face. It is impossible to evacuate now. We can only fight them with the help of the magic circle. Activate the self-sacrifice magic circle. Almost in an instant, all the black-clothed people were ignited with black flames, and then those black flames spread to other adventurers. All adventurers who were contaminated by the black flames also burned one by one. What's going on? Almost all the adventurers were extremely pale. The flames not only burned their bodies, but also burned their souls. Many adventurers with low strength turned into ashes before they lasted long, but the black flames around them were still burning. Some powerful adventurers used their magic power or fighting spirit to isolate the flames from themselves. The Holy Sea's masters, please save us. Many adventurers screamed and begged for help. The Holy Sea's people seemed to be watching everything with interest and had no intention of stopping it. Damn it, Alman, what are you waiting for now? Leo loudly questioned the leader of the Holy See. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55 The Pope appears. Leo, don't be so anxious. With your strength, you won't die now anyway. The old priest named Alman, who was wearing a golden magic robe, smiled slightly and seemed to have no intention of taking action. You bastard, although we have different ideas, we belong to the Holy See. We should support and help each other. Aren't you afraid that I will report you to the Pope? Leo was furious. Do you think I would do this without the Pope's instructions? Alman asked calmly. What did you say? This is the Pope's order? How is this possible? Do you know what you are saying now? You are a traitor to the Holy Church. I'm not a traitor to the Holy Church. On the contrary, you are a traitor to the Holy Church. After you die, your family will be judged by the Holy Church. If you dare to do this, the Pope will definitely not let you go. I'm saying what the Pope means. Why? You are really inflexible. Forget it. Why should I tell you so much? Anyway, you will disappear from this world soon, and even your soul will not be left. Alman said with a smile. To be honest, watching my former opponent die like this, I really feel very boring. Including the people of the Church of Natural Disaster, almost everyone was at a loss. They couldn't figure out what was going on, but they all had a very uneasy feeling. To be honest, I really didn't expect you to choose to sacrifice yourself, but this is good, saving me the trouble. At the same time, in the underground laboratory, I have installed the magic stone on the space portal, and it seems that there should be no problem in activating it. Yunfan said to Amy with a smile. Then let's leave now. I think Avril and the others must be very worried about us. Yunfan smiled slightly, nodded and opened the portal, and then Yunfan took Amy's hand and entered the portal. Have we been teleported out of the ruins? Why does it look so quiet here? After leaving the portal, Amy looked around curiously and saw no one around, so she asked, Sakon, is this portal not connected to the original ruined city? Yunfan thought to himself. Boy, you think too much. This portal is connected to the ruined city you mentioned, but now the sacrificial array has been opened again, and those people are used as nutrients. Ah. Hearing this, Yunfan couldn't help but exclaimed. Dante, what's wrong with you? Amy was also startled. Nothing. Yunfan naturally couldn't tell the truth. Amy, I think it's better for us to leave here quickly. The treasures in the ruins have nothing to do with us little guys. Maybe Her Royal Highness the Princess has already left. Amy thought for a moment and finally agreed with Yunfan's suggestion. Boy, find a place to hide quickly. Someone is coming. Sakadin's voice suddenly sounded in Yunfan's heart, and there was a hint of urgency in the voice, as if something bad was going to happen. What's wrong? Now is not the time to explain. Listen to me. Leave here quickly. After Sakadin said this, his voice disappeared. Sakadin? No matter how Yunfan called in his heart, Sakadin didn't respond. Come with me. Yunfan didn't hesitate, took Amy's hand, and turned to leave. What are you doing? Don't ask anything. Come with me quickly. Yunfan himself didn't know what happened. Of course he couldn't explain to Amy. Just as Yunfan left the original place, a young golden-robed wizard wearing a crown and holding a scepter in his hand passed by where they left. The man seemed to sense something and glanced in the direction where Yunfan left, but then continued on his way. Okay, kid, you can stop now. Sakon, what are you crazy about just now? You kid should thank me, you know? If it weren't for me, you might not be alive now. What happened? That person just passed by here. If he found out about your existence, he would definitely strangle you in the cradle. Him? Who exactly is this him you are referring to? Yunfan became more and more curious. The person who has the highest power on the continent now. The Pope. Why is he here? Don't you already know his identity? In fact, his identity is similar to mine. Both of us are gods without divine power. After these years of taking over bodies again and again, his divine power should be almost gone. You mean he went for the god who was sacrificed? Yes, although the gods will not bring down the divine power, the gods who come down will also bring their own divine power. If I'm not mistaken, they are going for the divine power, and this time the sacrifice of the gods, I'm afraid. At this moment, a black and gold light suddenly shot over from a distance and suddenly entered Ji Yunfan's head. Then Ji Yunfan felt as if his soul was torn apart again. I didn't expect your luck to be so bad. At this moment, Sakadin didn't know whether he was talking about Ji Yunfan or others. Boy, how about lending me your body temporarily? I'm the god of darkness. A tempting voice sounded in Ji Yunfan's heart, and the tone of the voice was just like Sakadin's at the beginning. No, I refuse. What? You, a small mortal, dare to refuse? I'm the god of shadow, your faith. Just a small clone of a lower level god. Sakadin's voice suddenly sounded. Who? The servant who claimed to be the god of shadow was startled by the sudden voice. Are you talking about me? Sakadin said while transforming into a figure and appeared in Ji Yunfan's mind. You are a god. How is it possible? Are there too many gods in this world? I just avoided the pursuit of a god's clone, and I met another god's clone. No, you are not a god's clone at all. You are a fallen god. How is it possible that there is a fallen god in this ordinary mortal's body? The guy who claimed to be the god of shadow has already roared. What is your relationship with this guy? Is he your believer? Chapter 56 The Thoughts of the Intelligent Skeleton. You are wrong. I signed a slave contract with him. So he is your slave, senior. I didn't know he was your slave. So, can I leave his body now? Senior. If you can leave his body, then leave, but I don't think you have the ability at all. How is it possible? He is just an ordinary mortal with great talent. How can I not leave? You are still wrong on 2 points. Although he is a mortal, he is not an ordinary mortal. I signed a master-servant contract with him. I'm not his master, on the contrary, he is still my master. How is this possible? How can a mortal be the master of a god? Even if you want to sign a contract, it is absolutely impossible to complete it. But this is indeed true. I don't believe it. The so-called shadow god rushed out of Ji Yunfan's body. Where exactly is this place? A small sapling suddenly appeared in front of the shadow god, instantly devouring the shadow god's divine consciousness. Although Sakadin had expected the result, he never thought that this sapling would grow so fast. It took only a few breaths to devour the clone of a lower god. If he had encountered such a strong sapling at the beginning, he might not be able to resist it. God of creation, what is this? What is this sapling? At this moment, a flower bud bloomed on the branch of the sapling. In fact, from the beginning when Sakadin and the clone of the lower god talked, Ji Yunfan had regained consciousness, but he just couldn't make his body move. This is the memory of that god. Ji Yunfan muttered to himself after taking a quick look at the information that came into his mind. Perhaps because of the clone, the memory left by the god was not complete, but because of this, he escaped a disaster. Otherwise, the memory of a god for thousands of years might damage his brain. Dante, what's wrong with you? Don't scare me, okay? Amy shook Ji Yunfan, who was lying on the ground, and said with a hint of tears in her tone. Don't worry, I'm fine. Ji Yunfan slowly opened his eyes and said. Damn it, where did he go? Why can't I feel his breath all of a sudden? Has that guy found someone to possess? Damn it, I must find you. At this moment, the man with the highest power on the continent roared angrily. In order to replenish his divine power, he had been secretly arranging for a long time. He sacrificed many loyal subordinates. He never thought that the final result would be like this. In the words of the earth, this should be regarded as losing both the wife and the army. Not only did he not get the divine power, but he also established a powerful enemy. Listen, believers of the Holy See. The devil has descended on this world. Everyone must find this devil and strangle it in the cradle. The Scourge Church actually summoned the devil to the continent for its own desires. It can be seen how hateful their evil intentions are. So I'm now issuing a conquest order in the name of the Pope. All members of the Scourge Church shall be executed. The Pope's voice was transmitted to the ears of the emperors of various empires on the continent through the scepter in his hand. Although many adventurers escaped from the forest and had vaguely guessed something, they did not choose to say it out. I knew that you brothers Dante would be fine. Ji Yunfan's return made Kim very happy, but Bennett was very depressed. Ji Yunfan was still very moved by Kim's concern. He smiled and said, "I'm also very happy that you can come back completely. Huh, it's just good luck." Bennett muttered. Ji Yunfan shook his head and ignored Bennett, a petty guy who couldn't possibly do anything big. After a period of studying the memory of the god in his mind, Ji Yunfan had a deeper understanding of cultivation and realized that his application of mental power was still very superficial. He probably used mental power very superficially on the road. These days, when he returned to the dormitory of the college every day, he concentrated his mental power to start meditating and practicing magic. At the same time, he also had a very bold idea, which was to use the power of technology to increase the strength of magic. As the weakest dark creature among the undead creatures, the skeleton has low intelligence and can only act according to the orders of the summoner. In fact, the attack power is not high, and it is even restrained by many kinds of magic. While meditating, he suddenly remembered that he had created an artificial intelligence robot in his previous life. He felt that there seemed to be some similarities. He wondered if he could combine them to transform a skeleton robot with higher execution power, and even equip him with some special equipment to use it as a special worker. When Ji Yunfan began to seriously recall how he made robots in his previous life, he found that, although he had a lot of memories from his previous life, most of them felt unreal when he recalled them, as if he was looking at things through a blurry piece of thin paper and couldn't remember them all. Ji Yunfan frowned slightly. Anyway, the robot making in his previous life was just a reference. To make a high-tech skeleton, the first thing he needed was to make a magic intelligent chip. Although Ji Yunfan had some ideas about this thing, it was not something that could be made overnight, so he was not in a hurry. What do you think the demon that descended on this continent looks like? If we can catch that demon, the Holy See should at least appoint a holy knight. Don't think too much, kid. How can we afford to offend a demon that the Pope is so afraid of? I really don't know what the Scourge Church wants to do. Do they want to destroy the entire continent? Why bother so much? Anyway, these things are far away from us. Have you heard? The Holy See has sent a special demon killing team. As long as the demon is on the continent, I believe it will be solved in no time. The academy is already full of legends about demons. Just as the tacit result of various forces, the Scourge Church has become a rat crossing the street and everyone shouts and beats it. Sure enough, history books are all written by victors. Ji Yunfan shook his head and said to himself. Chapter 57 Enchantment. In the morning, the warm sunshine shone into his dormitory again. It was the beginning of a new day. Ji Yunfan stretched and got up. It was the alchemy course again. Most students felt that the alchemy course was boring. Every day, they talked about some messy things on the stage. Those things were not very useful to them. However, Ji Yunfan was an exception. He was full of interest in alchemy. Class was about to start, but most students were still chatting in groups of 3 or 5. After such a period of getting along, Ji Yunfan and other students gradually became familiar with each other. There was not much estrangement with other students in the class. He soon became one with many students in the class. The bell for class rang, and the alchemy instructor Connor walked in with a stern face, as if everyone owed him money. People who can become alchemists are generally some people with eccentric personalities who can endure loneliness. Connor is also such a person. For these non-alchemy students, Connor never thinks that they can achieve any success in alchemy. Today I'm going to talk to you about magic inscriptions and enchantments. Enchanted props and weapons are very important for both fighters and magicians. There are 7 major types of enchantments, but generally speaking there are only 2 common types, namely, instrument inscription enchantments on weapons and defensive inscription enchantments on armor. Both of these can greatly enhance the power of magic weapons and magic armor. Magicians in particular can use magic wands and armor engraved with advanced enchantments to exert strength far beyond their own. Of course, in addition to this, other enchantments are of great significance. For example, curse enchantments are used on magic scrolls and are engraved on the scrolls. When used, they can enhance the power of magic scrolls. There are also body enchantments. This type of enchantment is extremely special and is directly copied on the human body surface. However, ordinary people cannot bear the pain of enchantment at all. Although the alchemy instructor spoke with relish, the other students were not very interested. Enchantment is very profound and mysterious. No one knows when it started to spread. However, it seems to have reached a new height in the age of the God of War. After thousands of years of continuous improvement, the entire continent suffered a heavy blow in the age of Ragnarok. We humans only inherited a small part of the enchantment, which is the three commonly used ones. The elves inherited the life enchantment, and the dwarves inherited the auxiliary enchantment. Today we are talking about the weapon enchantment in the enchantment, Connor said slowly, and his tone was much more serious than usual. Several old men in different clothes stood outside the classroom, listening carefully. Connor, this old guy, although his personality is not very good, his knowledge is still quite good. It is definitely enough to teach these non-alchemy students. One of the old men said with a smile. There are several good students in this class, Princess Avril, strong. This time our dark department will definitely shine. Another old man also smiled. The grey-robed old man at the innermost part just stood there casually, and he had a strong aura of a superior who was intimidating without being angry, which made the old men speak cautiously, not daring to be careless. You mean to let Her Royal Highness the Princess join the other shore? Don't dare. Several people hurriedly shook their heads. I wonder how many students you are going to recruit, sir? An old man looked at the grey-robed old man cautiously and said, this matter is not for you to consider. The grey-robed old man responded without comment. These old men kept muttering in their hearts, wondering what medicine this grey-robed old man was selling in his gourd. The students in the classroom didn't know that there were people outside. They seemed to be discussing something, and each of them was still the same as before. Connor slightly raised his chest. He was now completely immersed in the concentration of enchantment. His face showed a bit of yearning. He said, today I will talk about the 36 basic weapon enchantment patterns. Looking back to the era of the God of War, the Zul Empire was a well-deserved leader in the research of basic weapon patterns. Now my Nigel Empire is unique in the research of weapon enchantment. It is stronger than other empires, but there is still some gap compared to the Zul Empire era. There are a total of 36 basic weapon enchantment patterns. These 36 patterns are, Connor said as he drew 36 patterns on the blackboard. Why is the basic weapon enchantment pattern described by Sakatan, this Connor instructor, so different from what I got from the Dark Gods clone? And it seems that there are as many as 108 basic weapon enchantment patterns. Yunfan looked at Connor, who was spitting all over the place, and muttered in his heart. The enchanting magic patterns were actually passed down from the hands of the gods in the beginning. Mortals do not have the ability to carve 108 basic weapon enchantment patterns. Over time, only 36 patterns have been passed down. Moreover, even with these 36 patterns, only a small number of enchanting alchemists can do it. However, mortals also have their unique wisdom, which is to simplify the 36 basic magic patterns we have today. It turns out that the enchantment runes we are using now are just castrated versions. After all, the skills and knowledge of the gods are not something that ordinary mortals can master. Then Connor started drawing on the blackboard again. This time, the magic pattern was much more complicated than the previous 36 magic patterns. It was a new magic pattern composed of 12 basic magic patterns. This is a red wind pattern. The origin of this pattern is unknown now, but its effect is still very great. It can increase the speed by up to 40%. This pattern is composed of 12 basic patterns, and it is also a relatively complex pattern among the primary patterns. Next, let's talk about the 36 basic patterns. Connor said excitedly. It can increase the speed by 40%. This effect is really good. Many students have some interest at this moment, but they have not yet become enchanters. They are all considering asking their families to spend money to enchant their equipment. Yunfan was a little careless when he heard this. He was originally very interested in these basic patterns, but after talking with Sakatan, he knew that the enchantment patterns Connor talked about were all defective. In addition, he had the most complete basic patterns in his mind. For Yunfan, who pursues perfection, it is impossible for him to learn these castrated versions. Chapter 58 The Origin of the Other Shore. The bell rang, and Connor ended his teaching. Sir Rudolph, in fact, the students in this class are not very good. Why don't you go to the elite class? An old man said tentatively to the grey-robed old man, because his grandson was arranged in the elite class by him. Do I need you to teach me what I do? The grey-robed old man said expressionlessly. Sir, I dare not. Rudolph no longer paid attention to these people, turned his head, and glanced at Yunfan, then turned and left. I don't know what attracted Wallace to this kid, and he actually wanted to use privileges to recruit this kid. However, in recent times, Yunfan's series of actions have made it impossible to ignore his existence. What kind of person is Yunfan? The quarterly assessment of Alkaline Academy has finally arrived. This is a very special day for many students, because once they become formal magicians, it means that they have privileges. However, for some old people who have not yet broken through the formal magician, it is a nightmare, because they are likely to be eliminated from the academy. Survival of the fittest, no matter which world it is equally applicable. Learning magic is not a joke. Resources are limited. The system of any magic academy is almost the same. Those who are not suitable for learning magic will leave as soon as possible, so that they can find another way out and leave opportunities for others to learn magic. For those students who are very qualified but practice hard, today is the day to prove their strength. Especially for those big families, it is a day to show their family strength and strive for a higher status in the family. Although the storm of the Devil's Advent has not passed, the life of the students in the academy has been on the right track. In the manner of the finance minister's family, Bennett deliberately put on the high-level armor given to him by his father. Under the background of the armor, the whole person looks extremely handsome. Bennett feels that with his handsome appearance and this cool dress, he can definitely capture the hearts of many girls. He is the son of the dignified finance minister of the empire. His identity and status are naturally not comparable to ordinary nobles. Besides, those children of small noble families are already grateful to be favored by him. He is absolutely impossible to fancy such children of small noble families. His target is a girl like Princess Avril, who is a gifted lady. Of course, if other girls are willing to give in, he would be happy to spend the night with them. Bennett, please behave well today. You should know that, because of my father, our family is already very noble in the empire, but we are not the royal family after all. As long as you can get the trust of Princess Avril, our family will definitely go a step further. I spend a lot of resources on you every year. You must do your best. A middle-aged man who looks 3 points like Bennett said in a deep voice. Don't worry, father, don't you know how I deal with women? Bennett said confidently. It is because of your methods that I'm worried. Princess Avril is the most beloved daughter of His Majesty and has a noble status. If you dare to use those methods on her, I can't protect you. I can't protect you, and even push our family into an endless abyss. Bennett said seriously. Don't worry, father, I know the importance of it. Bennett said confidently. Bennett, I need to remind you here that the man named Dan seems to have been protected by some big shot, so don't embarrass him. After saying this, Bennett remembered something. His eyes turned, and he asked in a low voice, Father, I heard that His Majesty will also go to the academy today. Yes, today is a very important day for many people. His Majesty is planning to let the other Shah recruit some capable people from the academy. It just so happens that Princess Avril also participated in this test, and His Majesty wants to use this opportunity to see Princess Avril's ability. Finance Minister Alvin said. The other Shah. What is that? Bennett asked curiously. Although you are not qualified to know about the other Shah now, as my son, it should not be a big deal for me to tell you a little. The other Shah is a special organization founded by His Majesty. It directly obeys His Majesty's orders and controls the life and death of the nobles. Even the trainee members of the other Shah have the status of Baron, and the most important thing is that it can directly contact the high-level officials of the empire. Alvin looked at his son's energetic expression and naturally knew what he was thinking. He patted Bennett with a smile and said, Don't worry, I will find a way to let you join the other Shah. When you take the assessment, I will bring His Majesty to see it. As long as you can gain His Majesty's praise and recognition, it will benefit you and the family. Join the other Shah. Really? Do I also have the opportunity to join the other Shah and become a member of the other Shah? Bennett's eyes were shining. This identity was like a sort of imperial power to him. If he could get this identity, he would definitely be more powerful. Of course, do you think we are the same as civilian magicians? You know the principle, that the one who is close to the water, gets the moon first. In terms of identity and status, there are not many people in the academy who can catch up with you, and your current cultivation is definitely much higher than that of ordinary students. Alvin said with a smile. Father, I will definitely perform well. He has good talent and resources, and with the guidance of a special fighting teacher, he is indeed much stronger than fighters of the same age. This is a virtuous cycle. The higher the strength, the more you get, and the more you get, the faster your strength improves. Bennett was boiling with excitement. No wonder those noble children practiced like crazy. It turned out to be, to compete for this opportunity. The speed of practicing fighting spirit for fighters and magic power for magicians is related to many factors, the most important of which is naturally their own talent, and the other is resources and time. However, for low-level fighters like them, basically half a day of practice is the limit, and the rest of the time can only be used to learn theoretical knowledge and the application of fighting spirit. There are actually quite a few special magical artifacts inside the other side. With the help of those artifacts, you can break the routine and get more time to practice. Exactly. Although Bennett didn't know what those artifacts were, things that could break the routine were definitely not simple. Generally speaking, after reaching the limit of practice, practicing further would be counterproductive, so basically you can only do other things in the rest of the time. Chapter 59 Rudolph arrives. Father, are all these things you said true? Bennett said excitedly. Of course what I said is true. Although I have never used their tools, your second uncle is a member of the other shore. Do you think he will lie to me? This time I have told him about your situation. He said that he would help you think of a solution inside the other shore, but you must also perform well. Don't worry, Father, I will never let you down. It's useless to tell me. You have to perform well in front of His Majesty. Alvin patted Bennett's shoulder again. Bennett nodded heavily, and couldn't help, but sneered in his heart. Dante, what if you performed well that time? I have the support of my father and second uncle behind me. It's only a matter of time to join the other shore. You will never be able to compete with me in your life. This time, I will trample you under my feet and let Princess Avril know who is the waist between us. And remember, your second uncle said that you should not touch the guy called Dante for the time being. Is the guy who takes care of Dante inside the other shore higher in status than your second uncle? Bennett asked unwillingly. Your second uncle didn't say the specific situation, but according to him, as long as you join the other shore, there will be no problem in touching him this time. Don't worry, Father, I will definitely perform well and leave a good impression on His Majesty and the princess. After I join the other shore, it will be time for me to deal with that waste. Who is he? A slave sold into the academy, a humble guy who doesn't even know who his parents are. He knows what real power is, and what status is. A slave for one day, a slave for a lifetime. A lowly and ignorant thing, doesn't know what power is. Yunfan naturally didn't know that Bennett hated him to the core, and was already thinking about dealing with him, after joining the other shore. But even if Yunfan knew about it, he would just laugh it off. He never took Bennett to heart. You know, my goal is to become a god in the Sea of Stars. College dormitory. Dante, it's time to go. The assessment is about to start. It's not good to be late. The students in the dormitory next to Yunfan knocked on Yunfan's dormitory door and said to Yunfan, I know, I'll be there right away. I really don't know what level of magic Dante has reached now. Several students began to discuss. It's really not easy for Dante to go from a slave to this point step by step. The assessment is naturally different from the test-oriented assessment on Earth. Naturally, it is not a random test in the classroom. Although magic theory and other things will be tested, they do not account for a large score. The most important thing is mental strength and magic power. Of course, if it is an intermediate class or above, magic release and magic strength will be tested, as well as actual combat for ranking. It is very clear that it is to test all students about magic in this semester. Yunfan followed the students to the usual magic practice classroom. Today's layout was obviously different from the usual layout. The whole classroom seemed to be decorated with a magic barrier. In the middle of the classroom, there were two metal iron box shaped objects. There were many magic patterns on the iron box shaped objects. At a glance, it was known that they were the products of alchemy. The spirit meter and the magic base meter were the most important instruments for the student assessment. The semester assessment of the primary class was really simple. Just like the test given to Yunfan at the beginning, the students only had to put their palms on the two iron boxes, and the assessment teacher could immediately judge the students' practice results this semester by the values on the iron boxes. Just like the world where Yunfan originally lived, the fate of the students was likely to be determined by this assessment. In this world, it was even more cruel. Just like the hard indicators, the fittest survived, and the unfit were eliminated. Spiritual power and magic base are the foundation of magicians, representing the level of magic power in the body. Students, after a semester of study and practice, the teacher believes that you will not let me down. Prove the results of your hard work this semester. Magic teacher Annie said to the students in the class encouragingly. Teacher Annie, I'm sorry, I didn't build a magic base this semester. Do I have no talent? A very weak female student asked in tears. Her nervous and uneasy appearance made many students feel pity. How could it be? You have been working hard. Don't be so discouraged. If you can't do it this time, there will be next time. In fact, our school is quite humane and will give everyone several chances. But I'm stupid. I'm afraid that, even if I'm given another semester, I can't cultivate a magic base. The girl named Bella said. Bella, don't be afraid. Even if you don't pass and can't become a formal magician, there are still many ways to go. Teacher Annie comforted. But I really want to be a magician. Everyone was silent. Everyone wanted to be a magician. Becoming a magician represents identity and status, and having the right to speak in this world. The magic instructor in charge of the assessment came late, while the students were anxiously waiting. The examiners in charge of the assessment are basically from the student discipline committee. Usually, the students are very afraid to see them. The discipline committee is a law enforcement organization composed of teachers from the academy that has existed since the establishment of Alkaline College. It has a high influence. Okay, everyone, be quiet. There will be several extremely distinguished bigwigs inspecting this quarterly assessment. I hope you will perform well and never cheat, otherwise you will bear the consequences. The teacher of the discipline committee reminded. Bigwigs? Cheating? As soon as these words came out, the training ground was in turmoil. Because we have invited the most outstanding magician who has ever graduated from our academy. He was directly promoted to the 6th level magician at the age of 20. Now he is an 8th level sky magician. I think many of you have heard of his legend. That's right, he is the legendary magician Lord Rudolph, the head of the Royal Magic Corps. The teacher of the discipline committee said loudly. Oh my god, it's Lord Rudolph. I heard that, when he became a magician, the heaven and earth had strange phenomena. Those are all rumors. How can a mortal have strange phenomena? I heard that Lord Rudolph is the reincarnation of a god. Can you cheat in the magic assessment? Yunfan asked curiously. Of course, magic equipment is not vegetarian. Some powerful magic equipment can interfere with the normal operation of the test equipment. A student explained. Oh. Yunfan nodded thoughtfully. Chapter 60 Challenge. Isn't this Dante, the genius magician in our class? How is he? He will definitely get good grades in this exam, right? A discordant voice suddenly sounded from behind Yunfan. Yunfan looked in the direction where the voice came from and saw a handsome and gloomy boy standing not far away. Yunfan recognized the identity of the person at a glance. It was Stephen, who used himself as a shield in the library. What kind of results can I get in the test? It seems to have nothing to do with you, Stephen. Yunfan said expressionlessly. Ever since Yunfan entered the magic class, Stephen has regarded Yunfan as a thorn in his side. Because he felt that Yunfan saw his ugly side. Student Dante, you are wrong to say that. We are students in the same class. What's wrong with caring about each other? Stephen raised the corners of his mouth with a strange smile. Look, I'm really stupid. You've only been learning magic for a few days in the academy. It's not a big deal if you don't get a good grade in the first magic test. After all, your original identity is still there. You should thank God for being able to get rid of the identity of a slave. Stephen's tone was full of contempt. Stephen, what are you doing here? A female voice came. Yunfan and other students looked towards the voice, and Princess Avril came slowly. It turned out to be Princess Avril. Am I not showing my concern for my classmates? Stephen smiled awkwardly. Stephen, don't think I don't know what you want to do. I must warn you here. Dante's my man. If you dare to have any bad thoughts about him, I will never let you go. Princess Avril glared at Stephen and said, Princess Avril, you are really joking. How could I have bad thoughts about my classmates? Classmate Dante, do you think I'm right? Stephen said with a smile. I don't care how powerful your family is, Stephen. I hope you don't mess with me at will. Yunfan said lightly. Stephen's face changed slightly after hearing Yunfan's words. He never thought that Yunfan would dare to speak to him like this. Student Dante, you are really good. Stephen said with some gritted teeth. It seems that student Dante is not very interested in my family. You are disrespecting my family. I advise you to apologize to me now. Otherwise, I will challenge you in the name of noble honor. Boring. Yunfan said indifferently. Can I refuse? According to the laws of the empire, if a noble issues a challenge to a commoner, the commoner has no reason to refuse. A student next to Stephen explained. Stephen, are you challenging my authority? I have already told you not to make trouble for Dante. Otherwise. Avril's face was terribly gloomy. Dear Princess Avril, even if His Majesty is here, there is no reason to stop the nobles from exercising their privileges. Stephen did not seem to take Avril's threat to heart. Stephen, how dare you talk to Princess Avril like this? Some noble students looked at Stephen and Princess Avril in disbelief and whispered. Stephen's grandfather is for Shenglia. Even the royal family cannot ignore his existence. Besides, the Stephen family is now in charge of the entire Western Legion. Although I haven't heard that the Stephen family has any rebellious intentions, according to the current situation, the Stephen family already has the strength to compete with the royal family. Stephen. Princess Avril shouted loudly. Your Highness. Stephen said unscrupulously. Stephen, I accept your challenge. Yunfan replied indifferently. Dante, are you crazy? Stephen's current strength is close to that of a third level intermediate magician. If he adds magic props, he can barely release third level magic. You rashly accepting his challenge like this is undoubtedly a suicide. Princess Avril said angrily. Your Highness, do you think he will really let me go if I don't accept his challenge? Yunfan asked back. Stephen, although I accept your challenge, it is not without conditions. I want you to swear on the honor of the Stephen family that, if I can win you by chance in this duel, your Stephen family cannot deliberately target me. Otherwise, I will choose to refuse this meaningless duel. Yunfan said lightly. Okay, I promise you. But classmate Dante, do you really think that you can beat me with your current strength? Stephen said with a contemptuous smile. How strong I am can only be known after the duel, but I hope you can fulfill your promise. If you lose after the duel, your Stephen family should not come to trouble me. I think as a first heir, your words still have a certain weight, right? Yunfan said calmly. Of course. Stephen said confidently. Although the conversation between the two was short, it attracted the attention of many people. Stephen, as the first heir of the Stephen family, one of the four major families in the imperial capital, has always been a celebrity. Yunfan is also a legendary existence in the minds of the students. This little Stephen is too much of a bully. However, it is really unexpected that Dante has the courage to accept the challenge. Actually, it's not unexpected at all. If it were you, what would you choose to do? How did this guy named Dante offend Stephen? Haven't you heard about it? How did this guy named Dante become a student of the academy from a slave and servant? A student said mysteriously. Isn't it said that he was born with psychic power? I heard that it was caused by the psychic thorns of Princess Avril. How is that possible? An ordinary person would probably be in danger of his life after being stabbed by the psychic thorns. Even if we can withstand one blow, it would be enough to make it difficult. Who said it wasn't? But I heard that Stephen seemed to have done something bad and was hunted by Princess Avril. Dante was stabbed by the psychic thorn at that time. It seems that Stephen used Dante as a shield. The psychic thorn was actually aimed at Stephen. Shouldn't it be that the man named Dante hates Stephen? Now the situation seems to be reversed. Stephen is challenging Dante to a duel. This shouldn't be the case. Who could have imagined what these nobles were thinking? Chapter 61 Assessment begins. At this time, Yunfan suddenly felt a sense of being watched, so he couldn't help but look in that direction, and saw an ordinary looking old man in a grey robe and an extraordinary looking middle-aged man with a domineering look coming slowly. Yunfan had already recognized the identity of the old man at this moment, that is, the legendary wizard Rudolph. As for why Yunfan could recognize this legendary wizard, it had to start from when he was a slave servant. He had wiped the statue for Rudolph. It's Lord Rudolph. Almost all the students screamed, Lord Rudolph. The teacher of the discipline committee took the lead in greeting the old man, and then the other students also greeted the old man. Rudolph didn't say anything, just nodded to everyone. It turns out that all this is true. We actually met Lord Rudolph. This is something I can be proud of for the rest of my life. Yunfan shook his head. He didn't feel anything about Rudolph's appearance. On him, there was a middle-level god. Although this god had been damaged, it was definitely not comparable to the Sky Wizard. Seeing that Yunfan's expression did not change much because of his arrival, Rudolph could not help but nod his head in approval. At the same time, he secretly said in his heart, this kid is very good. It is rare to be able to maintain this state when knowing my identity. Yunfan is now a little curious about the middle-aged man next to the old man. Judging from this person's temperament, this person's identity is definitely not simple. Hey, why is my father here? Princess Avril muttered in a low voice. Even His Majesty is here? Although Princess Avril's voice was not loud, it was obvious to these magicians, if they heard it. Greetings to His Majesty. The teacher of the discipline committee took the lead in saluting the middle-aged man. Today is a special day, so don't be rude to me. The middle-aged man said casually. Thank you, Your Majesty. Since the adults are here, let's start the assessment now. The teacher of the discipline committee nodded. The test was carried out in an orderly manner. The test was actually very simple, just like the test Yunfan had done, using a spirit detector. The test is an opportunity for people to choose. Some people are very satisfied with their test results and smile, while some people are very dissatisfied with their test results. Some students even cry because of dissatisfaction. They have not passed the test for several times. If they fail again, they will face expulsion from the academy. From then on, the path of magicians is almost out of their reach. Your Majesty, it seems that those families are becoming more and more unscrupulous. If this continues, I'm afraid that the foundation of the empire will be shaken. Rudolph said to the middle-aged man beside him, while watching the test. Teacher Rudolph, how could I not know this? The power of those guys is spreading more and more widely. Now it is no longer possible to simply curb their development. The middle-aged man sighed. It's because every one of their families has a saint-level warrior. These guys are undoubtedly a cancer to the empire, but we can't push them too hard, otherwise, they will fight to the death, and then it will only give others an opportunity to take advantage of us. But fortunately, we have an agreement with them. Now that as the empire's top combat power, we can't act easily. Teacher, how long do you think this balance can be maintained? I don't know. Even the Orc Empire is ready to make a move. Teacher, with internal and external troubles, I'm really afraid that they will cooperate with the Orc Empire. What you said is not completely impossible, and the actions of my orcs are also related to the Holy See. Your Majesty should have known about what happened some time ago. Henry and the others have reported to me. What exactly does the Holy See want to do? And what does the Church of the Scourge want to do? Let's discuss these things later. My most important task now is to develop the other shore. Then it all depends on you, teacher. The other shore can be regarded as our hands and feet. If it can develop stronger, we will have stronger strength to compete with those guys. What do you think of that boy? Rudolph suddenly changed the subject and looked at Yunfan. There is nothing wrong with this boy's identity. He is still very calm, but his strength is a little lacking. This boy gives me a strange feeling, you know? Strange? It's really not easy for the teacher to say the word strange. The middle-aged man said with some surprise. Although her strength appears to be that of a junior magician on the surface, I always feel that there is a mysterious power hidden in her, and that power seems to be able to destroy the world. Teacher, are you thinking too much? A smile appeared on the corner of the middle-aged man's mouth. She's just a junior magician. Maybe. Teacher, look, it's Avril's turn soon. The mental power is at 99 scales, and 8 magic bases have been constructed. Now she is at the peak of a junior magician. If she is given a good magic item, she can barely be considered a third level intermediate magician. Teacher, the girl's talent is pretty good, right? Otherwise, why don't you consider teaching her in person? That's of course no problem. After all, this girl is my apprentice. Not long after, the test was halfway through, and it was Steven's turn to take the assessment test. Many magic students were curious about Steven's results. Spiritual power 58 scales, 7 magic bases. It seems that Steven has become a second level junior magician. I'm afraid Dante is in danger this time. Many students no longer have any hope for Dante, because Dante has too little time to learn magic, not even a semester, and he is grateful to be a first level trainee magician. Dante, did you see that? This is my strength. Do you think you can beat me? Steven glanced at Dante and then said in a cold tone, how about you admit your mistake to me now, and I can forgive you, and cancel this fight? Until the last moment, who can tell? Seeing that you are having a good time now, you better not lose to me later. Yunfan shook his head and said, you kid, just be stubborn now, I will make you pay later. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 62 Duel. The assessment test continued, and soon it was Yunfan's turn. In fact, after this semester of practice and meditation, Yunfan's mental power has exceeded 100 scales, reaching the standard of the third level, but he does not want to fully demonstrate his mental power. Because he knows the principle of being too good and not enough. It is already very remarkable to become a second level junior magician in just one semester. Second, do you have a way to hide your mental power? Don't worry, even if it's such a low level alchemical item, you can do it even without my help. Sakuden said confidently. What do I need to do? Aren't you already able to macro control your mental power? Do you still need me to remind you of this? Yunfan closed his eyes and simulated the process of the magic test in his mind. After several attempts, he mastered the skills. Dante, mental power 21 scales, construct 4 magic bases. How is this possible? Dante has reached the level of a second level junior magician. Yunfan was reported by the teacher in charge of the assessment, and many students were shocked by the data. This kid. Steven's smiling face suddenly turned very ugly. Even if he has reached the mental strength and magic base of a primary magician, what can he do? If he can't use second level magic, he is still not a primary magician. Steven, you never know, you may really be defeated by Dante. If so, I hope you can keep your promise. Avril looked at Steven and said coldly, this kid is really interesting, but I don't know if he can withstand the attack of little Steven. If he can get through this difficulty, I will accept him to join the other shore. Rudolph said with a smile. It seems that the teacher has a high opinion of this kid. What's wrong with having some talent? If you offend someone you shouldn't offend. The ending is actually already determined. Several noble students without talent said with a hint of unwillingness and jealousy. Sith, are you sick? When did my brother Dante offend you? Why are you barking like a vicious dog? Several civilian students have been following these noble students for a long time. These civilian students are now considered to be students with extraordinary talents in the class, and they are the few who can cast elementary magic. They don't know what these low strength and low talented nobles have the capital to show off here. You lowly civilians, you dare to scold me. Aren't you afraid that my family will cause trouble for you? Very good. C's, are you also ready to learn from Steven and challenge me? If you can challenge me like a man, I will naturally be convinced. You, wait. C's naturally didn't have the courage to do so. He just dared to threaten verbally. Okay, don't make a loud noise. The assessment has already begun. If there are students who make a noise casually, be careful, I will give you a failing grade directly. The teacher of the discipline committee shook his tiger body and said very domineeringly, Your Majesty, your idea of recruiting some civilian children to learn magic is indeed a good one. Now, many civilian geniuses have graduated from the academy and entered the army to serve. Many nobles have been newly enthroned, dividing their power. Although we have recruited many civilian children, these civilian children are just a drop in the bucket. It is basically impossible to fundamentally curb the development of those forces. Your Majesty, I believe we will find a way to solve this matter. Everyone has completed the basic assessment. I wonder if any of the students have applied to join the intermediate class for upgrading. If so, you can start now. Of course. There are not many people who have successfully reached the level of a junior magician in terms of mental power, so there are not too many students who want to participate in the promotion to the intermediate class, including Princess Avril and Stephen G. Yunfan. There are only 5 people. Now that the assessment is over, Dante, are you ready? Stephen suddenly walked to Ji Yunfan and sneered. I hope I don't let you lose too much face. Ji Yunfan still said calmly. What a joke. Although you are already a junior magician, there are also different levels of junior magicians. Do you really think you can beat me? Stephen was most annoyed by Ji Yunfan's attitude. I really don't know. After a while, I beat you up and make you cry for your parents. Will you kneel down and beg for mercy? Dante, your attitude makes me very annoyed now. I can't wait to beat you up, but I think it would be too easy for you if I do it now. I want to duel with you in front of all the teachers and students in the school. Ji Yunfan glanced at Stephen with the corner of his eyes. Haha. Ji Yunfan's attitude towards Stephen made many students feel very funny and couldn't help laughing. Dante, you are very good. Stephen said with gritted teeth, and then clenched his fist fiercely. I will let you be proud for a while. Today, Stephen will let this guy die miserably. The two of them soon came to the school's duel arena. Many students followed them to see the result of the duel. What Ji Yunfan didn't expect was that their original examination teacher, the legendary wizard Rudolph and His Majesty, also followed them to the duel arena. It's really strange. Why would Lord Rudolph and His Majesty choose to watch this little duel between junior magicians? You know, they are always busy with all kinds of things. A 5th level magician is nothing in their eyes. It seems that there is something we don't know about this. The discipline committee teacher's heart moved. Since the two of you have chosen to duel, naturally there must be judges. In this case, let Teacher Ben take the position. The discipline committee teacher suddenly said. The discipline committee teacher thought for a while and then continued. You two are both elite students in the academy. If one of you is injured in the duel, it will be a loss for the academy, so I hope you two will stop when you are done. Humph. Stephen smiled coldly, seemingly ignoring the words of the discipline committee teacher. It seems that this guy's determined to kill Dante, but it's a pity for a magic genius. You are fine. Why do you want to offend these nobles? Especially the Stephen family, who are notoriously difficult to deal with in the imperial capital. The teacher of the discipline committee thought to herself. In fact, this teacher of the discipline committee was born in a civilian family and has always been very caring for civilians, so she really doesn't want Ji Yunfan to get into trouble. Chapter 63 Strange Skeleton Warrior. The dark department is really going backwards now. It's hard to find a talented guy, but he may die young. Students from other departments couldn't help shaking their heads after seeing Ji Yunfan and Stephen. Don't talk nonsense. Be careful that Princess Avril hears it. I really don't understand why Princess Avril chose a dark department back then. Student Dante, Student Stephen, are you two ready now? If you knew that once you start the challenge, you would be dead or alive. Don't worry, teacher, we will bear any consequences. Stephen ignored the teacher's dissuasion and said with a righteous tone. In that case, then okay, I declare now that the duel officially begins. As soon as the teacher's voice fell, Stephen's magic robe automatically rose without wind, and in an instant, magic waves surrounded him and formed a magic barrier. Wow. In an instant, the students watching the game exclaimed, you actually used magic props directly, isn't this cheating? What kind of cheating is this? Wealth is also a symbol of a person's strength. Some students with good family backgrounds couldn't help but refute. Yunfan raised his magic wand and released 3 dark balls in succession. The 3 dark balls hit Steven's barrier and only caused a few waves. Dante, you can't break my defense at all. Now admit defeat and kneel down. How about I spare you this time? Steven said mockingly. This should be a 3rd level magic shield. With my current strength, it is almost impossible to break through this shield at once, unless I can measure some special means now, but these means are either used to save lives, or are not allowed to be seen in the light. Yunfan ignored Steven's sarcasm and thought secretly in his heart, trying to find a way to break it. Very good, since you don't admit defeat, don't blame me. Steven smiled coldly, then raised his magic wand high, and recited the magic spell in his mouth. Shadow Arrow. At the moment, when Steven's shadow arrow was released, Yunfan also moved at the same time, and dodged Steven's shadow arrow. This kid's fighting consciousness is so strong. Many students couldn't help but exclaimed. Dante, although you escaped my attack by chance, you can't be so lucky every time, and you can't break my defense anyway. What awaits you is only defeat in the end. Are you still going to attack uselessly like this? Steven sneered. Yunfan took a deep breath and chanted magic spells. Strange, why do I feel like I've never heard of the spells this kid chanted? Is he just chanting randomly? Rudolph frowned slightly and said to himself, it shouldn't be possible. The Zhou Empire lost so many magic spells before. Maybe this kid has some adventure. Just when all the students were thinking about what magic Yunfan was going to use, a skeleton warrior suddenly appeared in front of Yunfan. Special magic of the dark department? Skeleton summoning? But this spell doesn't seem right. After Yunfan summoned the skeleton warriors, some dark students who were watching nearby talked about it one by one. From their conversation, it can also be heard that they are full of curiosity about the magic released by Yunfan. No, did you notice? Dante, the summoned skeleton warriors are very different from the ones we usually see. Isn't the weapon used by the skeleton warrior a bone knife? What on earth is this skeleton warrior holding in his hand? After a period of research, although Yunfan did not develop an intelligent skeleton, he still used alchemy and modern technology to add some crafted equipment to the skeleton warriors. The skeleton warrior that Yunfan summoned now is his experiment. It is difficult for ordinary necromancers or dark mages to summon accurately. Perhaps it is because Yunfan is not originally from this world, and because of his spatial physique, he was able to summon specific skeleton warriors. Do you think that you can break my defense by summoning such a weird skeleton warrior? But I really didn't expect that after just one semester of study, you can master special magic. If you are given a certain amount of time, I may not be your opponent, but now. After Steven saw Yunfan's talent, a cold light flashed in his eyes, and for the first time he had the mentality of wanting to strangle him in the cradle. Teacher, do you see something? If I'm not mistaken, this kid is not just a junior dark wizard. I'm afraid he also has a high level of attainment in alchemy. Is there really no problem with his identity? Teacher, don't you still believe in the ability of the other side? It seems that this kid really has some opportunities that we don't know about, but it's also good this way. It can allow him to grow up quickly. NB1, this time, the master is going to rely on you. Attack hard. Yunfan showed a trace of cruelty on his face. After hearing what Yunfan said, the weird skeleton warrior ran towards Steven. Is this really a skeleton warrior? How come he is so fast? Many magic students took a breath after seeing NB1 running towards Steven. I didn't expect that the speed spell was engraved on the skeleton of the skeleton warrior. This kid is really a genius. Rudolph saw the reason at a glance, but even he was a little amazed. The information network on the other side is still a little poor. They didn't even find out that this kid is an alchemy master. It seems that I have to do some work during this period of time. The strange skeleton warrior took the alloy knife in his hand and chopped hard at the barrier in front of Steven. Almost all the students watched intently. They wanted to see how powerful the strange skeletons summoned by Yunfan were. The alloy knife made a crisp sound when it hit the barrier. Although the barrier shook a few times, it didn't seem to be broken. Seeing this, Steven couldn't help but let out a long sigh of relief. Is this your special magic? It's nothing great. Do you really think NB1 can't break your barrier? Except for Yunfan, only a few people found that Steven's barrier was no longer as stable as it was at the beginning. Chapter 64 The Other Shore. Stop pretending here. If you could break it, you would have done it long ago. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Steven, if that's the case, I'll break it for you to see. NB1, break the surface with a point. Attack one place with all your strength. The strange skeleton warrior seemed to have his own consciousness all of a sudden. He first took back the alloy knife in his hand, and finally stabbed it fiercely. In everyone's opinion, this attack seemed to be nothing special, but the final result was somewhat unexpected. There was only a crisp sound, and the barrier in front of Steven slowly disintegrated like a broken mirror. Steven looked at everything in front of him in disbelief. Just when the alloy knife in the strange skeleton warrior's hand was about to chop him, a voice suddenly came over. Spare his life. Then a strong magic wave directly hit the strange skeleton warrior. Uncle? Steven showed a smile of surviving a disaster. I admit defeat on behalf of little Steven. Little guy, you are very good. I'm now recruiting you on behalf of the Steven family. I hope you can become a retainer of our Steven family. Uncle, you. Teacher Steven, I'm afraid your behavior is not in accordance with the rules. The teacher of the discipline committee stood up. Little guy, I hope you will think about it carefully. You will definitely have unlimited future if you can be valued by my Steven family. Steven, you don't take the rules of the Empire seriously. The voice of Ken Archer, the Emperor of the Nigel Empire, suddenly came over. So it's your Majesty and Lord Rudolph. I didn't expect your Majesty to come to watch this battle between little junior magicians. Steven bowed slightly and smiled. His performance clearly showed that he didn't take Ken Archer, the Emperor of the Nigel Empire, to heart. Dante's now an apprentice member of our other shore. Can't I come to see what kind of people my subordinates are? Ken Archer, the Emperor of the Empire, said calmly. I didn't expect that this little brother has joined the other shore. I would like to congratulate His Majesty. According to this little brother's talent, I believe he will be able to stand on his own in the near future. Steven took a deep look at Ken Archer. A cold light flashed in his eyes, and then said with a smile. Yunfan was a little overwhelmed at this moment. He didn't even know when he joined the other shore. Since he came to this world, he has been full of interest in magic. He doesn't want to waste his time on fighting for power and profit, but according to the current situation, he seems to have entered a vortex, and this vortex involves the interests of many people. He once again feels a lot of pressure. In this case, I will take my nephew away first. Steven said expressionlessly. Uncle, am I just going to let it go? Little Steven stared at Yunfan and said viciously. If you don't want to let it go like this, what else do you want? Don't you think you haven't lost enough people? I will personally tell my elder brother about this duel. I hope you can take care of yourself. Steven looked back at his nephew with a cold tone, and then turned and left. Little Steven, the uncle who had already left, showed a slight look of fear on his face, and hurriedly followed. Little guy, come with me over there. I have something to tell you. Rudolph had also walked to Yunfan's side at this time. I wonder what the adults want to talk to me about. Yunfan asked casually. Follow me and you will know. Rudolph said calmly. Yunfan glanced at Rudolph's back and followed him. Little guy, do you know the existence of the other side? Rudolph suddenly stopped and turned to Yunfan and said. I haven't heard of it before, but I heard my classmates mention it in the morning. It is said that it seems to be the cradle of the nobility and has considerable privileges and power. I don't know anything else. Yunfan said everything he knew. The cradle of the nobility. This word is appropriate to describe it. The other shore is a very special organization affiliated with His Majesty. This organization is completely responsible to His Majesty and can be regarded as His Majesty's guards. Rudolph nodded and said, and the meaning of the existence of the other shore organization is to help His Majesty deal with some things that are not allowed to see the light. I don't know. What does Lord Rudolph mean by telling me so much? Yunfan asked in a deep voice. You have a good talent. After this incident, there should be many nobles who want to recruit you. But have you thought about what path you will take in the future? Rudolph asked suddenly. What kind of path? Lord, I think you should know my identity. In the past, I was just a slave servant. I feel very lucky to be able to become a junior magician. I really haven't thought about the future path. Yunfan responded. You are very dishonest. You are not honest in front of me. Do you think that I'm an old guy with blurred eyes? Rudolph said with a slight curl of his mouth. Lord Rudolph, where did you get this from? Yunfan asked back. Although I don't know what you want to do, I know that your apparent strength is not your real strength. Rudolph said, you little guy, I'm afraid there are a lot of secrets hidden in you, right? Yunfan's face changed slightly. Of course I'm not interested in your secrets. I just want to tell you that there is an opportunity in front of you now. Are you talking about joining the Beyond Shore organization? Yunfan asked back. Yes, Kit, maybe you don't know the true power of the Stephen family now. If you offend them, they will definitely not let you go. Only by joining the Beyond Shore organization and going to the protection of the Empire can you grow up. So, don't I mean you have no choice? Yunfan sighed. Yes, but it's not that simple to join the Beyond Shore. An entry task is for you to complete. If you can't complete the entry task, then I can only say sorry to you. After all, the Beyond Shore doesn't support people who eat for free. Rudolph said calmly. I understand, Lord Rudolph. Yunfan responded calmly. During this period of time, you should work hard to improve your strength. I will send someone to convey your induction tasks to you in a while. Can you tell me why you gave me this opportunity? Yunfan asked casually. Swaless is my apprentice. He recommended you to me. Rudolph suddenly said as he left. Chapter 65 Meeting Amy again. I didn't expect Dan to join the other side. Who is he? He's just a lowly person who was born as a slave. That's because he has a high talent. People like you can't join the other side, even if you spend 100 or 80 years. It's just like how talented you are. It's just that you passed the assessment this semester by luck. No matter what, I'm better than you. If you can't pass the assessment next semester, just wait to go home. Many students in the academy are discussing today's assessment. It was approaching evening. Most of the students in Alkaline Academy went to eat, and the whole academy seemed a little deserted. After eating, Yunfan was ready to continue studying his intelligence skeleton. Dante, your mental strength has reached 120 scales now. At the current speed, you can break through again within half a year. Sakhardan whispered, with an uncontrollable excitement in his tone. In his opinion, this cultivation speed is simply unimaginable. Perhaps his master's future achievements will be limitless. Now they are all in the same boat. Yunfan also smiled slightly. This speed was beyond Yunfan's expectation. The improvement of mental power was too fast, just like being in a dream. The plant in your mind is really incredible. Even I, who was once a god, dare not imagine it at all. That thing has exceeded my cognition. Sakhardan said with deep jealousy. Although I feel that I have made rapid progress. Sakhardan, do you have any other ways to improve my strength in a short time? Yunfan asked with a sigh. I have a way to improve my strength faster, but you should understand the principle that haste makes waste. Sakhardan said seriously. Of course I understand this logic, but the situation is not clear enough now, and I'm really afraid that I will accidentally lose my life. It is not difficult to find from what Rudolph said just now that the situation in the imperial capital is not rigid. Moreover, the family of that guy named Stephen should have a good influence. Even the emperor of the imperial capital does not want to have a head-on conflict with them. Yunfan took a breath. Even after I joined the other side, it's just an extra life-saving card. Although they dare not do anything to me openly, it's hard to say in secret. Now the only reliable thing is to improve my own strength. You kid sees it clearly. Sakhardan said approvingly. I still have a lot of alchemical formulas in my hands, but your current strength is too weak. How about this? You go collect some herbs now, and I will teach you some alchemy. What kind of herbs do you want me to talk about? At this moment, several sets of alchemical potion formulas suddenly emerged in Yunfan's mind. In the alchemical formulas, various materials and quantities were listed. But where should I go to find these herbs now? The prices of these herbs are really not low. Yunfan looked at the listed herbs and said in amazement. In fact, alchemists are the richest people in this world. They can transform low value things into high value things and have the power to turn decay into magic. Do you mean that I should make some simple and popular things first to accumulate wealth? Yes, that's what I mean. Just as Ji Yunfan and Sakadin were chatting, Ji Yunfan's eyes suddenly glanced into the distance. By the pond on the campus, a beautiful figure was holding a scroll and looking down. A head of hair falling like a waterfall. The sunset has fallen, and the afterglow of the sun shines on her delicate cheeks, which looks very charming. Ji Yunfan was a little moved. In an instant, countless memories flooded into his mind, bits and pieces of underground. It was in that mysterious environment that the two people walked out. In that case, please help me think about something that is both hot selling and won't attract too many people's attention. Congratulations on joining the other side. Amy looked at Ji Yunfan, who was walking towards her. Her heartbeat suddenly accelerated for no reason, and she said calmly, "To be honest, if I can choose, I would rather not join the other side. The water in the Nigel Empire is too deep. I might be doomed if I'm not careful." Ji Yunfan sighed and said, "Forget it, let's not talk about this for now. I heard that you also applied for the upgrade assessment. How is it? Did you pass it?" "Just barely passed it," Amy whispered. "I have to thank you a lot for passing the upgrade exam this time." Amy couldn't help but blushing when she thought of everything that happened in the underground laboratory. "In that case, how about I treat you to go out and celebrate?" Ji Yunfan now has the relics in the underground laboratory, and he is also worth a lot, so naturally he won't care about these small amounts of money. "I'm afraid this won't be a good idea," Amy said hesitantly. "Forget it, since you said so. Let's ask the princess and the others to come together." Ji Yunfan said immediately, "It would be great if we asked them to come together." Although Amy said so, she couldn't help but feel a little disappointed in her heart. Although there were not too many people on campus, Amy, a civilian school beauty, still attracted the attention of others. Seeing that she and Ji Yunfan were talking and laughing, many students felt a little incredible. That person is Dante school beauty Amy, right? Since when did their relationship become so good? Haven't you heard about it? They belong to the same mercenary team, and the captain of this mercenary team is our princess. Oh my god, this kid is too lucky. Not only can he join the mercenary team of the princess, but now he has become a member of the other side. In fact, you can't envy him. I have to say that Dante's talent is really too high. Ji Yunfan and Amy felt a little uncomfortable when they felt the eyes of the people around them were like watching animals in the zoo. "Let's go first," Ji Yunfan said. Okay. Amy naturally agreed with Ji Yunfan's proposal. So the two of them walked towards the apartment, where Avril was in the academy. "Your Highness, we have all passed the upgrade test, right? So we are going to invite everyone to celebrate together, but I don't know if you have the time." "Of course I have time. Since a member of my mercenary team has completed the upgrade test, of course I have time. As the team leader, I will treat you." Chapter 66 Dinner. At the same time, Steven was looking frustrated, cursing Ji Yunfan hundreds of times in his heart. If Steven practiced the dark curse technique and his mental strength was strong enough, Ji Yunfan might be dead now. "Steven, how many times have I told you that you must use your brain when doing things, but why don't you listen?" Clement Steven, the head of the Steven family, said coldly. "What impact will this duel have?" "Father, I just made a mistake this time." "Steven, you think too simply. If the two old guys were not present in this duel, it would not be a big deal. But now Dante has been included in the other shore. If we target him this time, I'm afraid those two guys will take advantage of the situation." Clement Steven sighed and said, "Father, you are too worried. How dare they do this with the power of our Steven family?" Steven said indifferently, "It is precisely because of our huge power that the old man wants to target us." Clement Steven said coldly, "Do you think our Steven family will always be controlled by them?" "Father means replace them?" Steven widened his eyes and said loudly in disbelief, "In fact, we started planning all this a long time ago. The reason why we didn't tell you was because we were afraid that you would say that I was talking too much. But now I think the time is ripe. Father, if it weren't for our ancestors, how could the Aki family unify the empire? Their Aki family became the master, but what did they give us? The empire has long been corrupt. Only by overthrowing it can we not bring light to the people of the empire. Clement Stephen said enthusiastically. But, there is no but. As a member of the Stephen family, you must understand what you should do. I'm going to stop here. You can leave now. Remember to think about what I said to you. Yes, father. What Clement Stephen said was so shocking that little Stephen couldn't accept it. In the library of the alchemy department, a tall girl was flipping through a book on alchemy. Her flawless face was frowned from time to time. She looked very charming in her magician's robe. Teacher, did you watch the fight with Cheo today? Yes. You said that the skeleton warriors summoned by Dante had all chemical runes engraved on their bodies? I think so. An elegant middle-aged woman was silent for a moment and responded. But why have I never seen those runes? The girl asked puzzledly while looking at the alchemy encyclopedia in her hand. Since the demise of the Zhou Empire, there have been many rumors about the alchemical runes left by the gods. Maybe that kid had his own opportunities and got some great inheritance. The middle-aged woman said. Did he find a lost civilization? That's too incredible. I think you should have heard about some things that happened in the Ouroboros forest some time ago. But even if you get the inheritance, you can't use it immediately, right? She frowned as she flipped through the books. She was a competitive and hard-working person. Whether it was her talent or her knowledge of alchemy, she was much better than other students. She was still a little proud in her heart, but after this fight she actually found that the gap between herself and Yunfan was so big. The runes that guy carved on the skeleton warrior were really different. She could only understand some of them, and she thought most of them were very mysterious. In terms of knowledge, Elena was indeed the best among her peers, but she secretly compared herself with Yunfan, the guy who got the inheritance of the gods, but she found the wrong person. Seeing Elena flipping through the alchemy encyclopedia, the middle-aged woman knew Elena so well that she could guess what she was thinking. She shook her head and smiled, then walked to Elena and said, "Forget it, Elena, don't dwell on it. There are runes on it, some of which even I'm not familiar with. If you want to find out their functions, you can only go find that little guy named Dante." Elena came back to her senses from her deep thoughts and looked at her teacher with an incredible look on her face. She obviously didn't expect her teacher to have such a high opinion of Yunfan. You know, her master is also a master in alchemy. Teacher Belinda, are you mistaken? Are the runes on it really so mysterious? Even you don't understand them? Little girl, your teacher, am I that old? Although the spells carved by that little guy are very similar to the basic magic runes, they seem to have changed a lot and seem to be more difficult to figure out than the basic magic runes. Belinda sighed. My alchemy has reached a bottleneck now. It is very difficult to make a breakthrough. It seems that I need to find that little guy to talk to. Maybe I can get some inspiration from him. Oh my god, teacher, you think too highly of Dante. Elena looked at her teacher in disbelief. Although I don't want to admit it, the runes carved by that little guy, even I'm not sure that I can carve them out. Yunfan naturally didn't know that he was already remembered by many people at this moment. You can order whatever you want to eat today. I'll treat you. Princess Avril said to the members of the mercenary team. Although Bennett talked and laughed with the other members of the mercenary team, the cold light in his eyes still revealed his true thoughts. At the beginning, he had regarded Yunfan as his enemy. You guys are really good. You all made me proud after completing the upgrade. Princess Avril said happily. So you all seem to have eaten to your heart's content today. Your highness is not bad either. Dante, the skeleton warrior you summoned today was so handsome. How did you do it? Princess Avril asked, thinking of something. Actually, I don't know what's going on. It's just that every time I summoned a skeleton warrior, it was the same one, so I used the time I spent to transform it. Chapter 67 Invitation from the Alchemy Department. I didn't expect you to be so gifted. How come I don't have this talent? Avril said with some jealousy. Bennett looked at Yunfan with even sharper eyes at this moment. He was so eager to crush Yunfan to ashes. You kid, just stay here and be proud for a while. Even if you join the other side, what can you do? The Stephen family is not a vegetarian. Boy, you should pay more attention to that guy named Bennett. He doesn't have any good intentions towards you. Sakadin's voice rang in Yunfan's heart. That guy didn't treat me well from the beginning. I could feel it a long time ago. But I can't tear my face with him directly now. After all, we belong to the same mercenary team. Yunfan said. You kid just think too much. Sakuden said with a hint of ridicule. Teacher Belinda, are you saying that you are going to transfer him to our department? Elena looked at her elegant teacher in disbelief, but I think the dark magic teacher will not agree. You know that Dante is not only very talented in alchemy, but also has amazing magic talent. So I will personally talk to this little guy. As long as this little guy agrees, it will be very easy to transfer him to our department, right? Belen said with a smile. I'm afraid he won't agree. How can he not agree? Our alchemy department is the most powerful in the entire college. It is many times stronger than that last dark one. Forget it, let's not talk about this today. For some reason, Elena always felt that Yunfan would definitely refuse Teacher Belinda's invitation. The next morning, Student Dante, can you wait for me for a while? Yunfan was about to go to the magic training classroom when he suddenly heard a female voice behind him. Yunfan stopped and turned around, only to find that a very elegant middle-aged woman was standing not far away. The middle-aged woman was smiling at him, as if she was looking at a piece of craftwork. Not bad, not bad, you are quite good looking. May I know what this sister's name is? You can call me Belinda, or call me Sister Belinda. In fact, I'm the instructor of the alchemy department of our college. I just want to discuss something with you. What? From that battle, I have discovered that your alchemy talent is very high. I think it is a waste of talent for you to stay in the dark department, so I want to invite you to join our alchemy department. Belinda said with a slight smile on her lips. Thank you, Teacher Belinda. Although I like alchemy very much, I don't want to join the alchemy department because of this. Why not join? Only when you come to our alchemy department can your talent be fully demonstrated. Thank you teacher for your kindness to me, but I already have my own plans, so I can only say here, I'm sorry. Yunfan said with a smile. If that's the case, then I won't say anything more, but you have to remember that the door to the alchemy department is always open to you. Belinda shook her head, as if she was a little disappointed, because she missed an alchemy genius. Belinda, what are you doing here? Are you planning to poach my girlfriend? A rather soft female voice suddenly came from behind them. Even without turning around, Belinda had guessed who the voice belonged to. Annie, Dante's talent for alchemy is quite high. Only by arranging him in our department can he fully develop his talent. Belinda, you have been so self-righteous since you were a child. Annie, I came here today not to quarrel with you. So please don't mess around here anymore, okay? Belinda smiled and said, then turned her eyes to Yunfan and said, what about you, little guy? Have you thought about it? Will you continue to stay in the dark department, or choose to join our alchemy department? I'm sorry, Teacher Belinda, I think you should already know my background. It was Teacher Annie who gave me a chance, so I will not leave the dark department anyway. Yunfan said without hesitation. In that case, I will not force it anymore, but if you change your mind, the door of the alchemy department is always open to you. Teacher Belinda nodded and said nothing more. Dante, you are very good. If you have any questions in the future, you can ask me. If you need my help in life, I will definitely try my best to help you. Teacher Annie looked at Yunfan with satisfaction. Thank you, Teacher Annie. Although Yunfan didn't think that Teacher Annie could help him, he still responded very politely. If there is nothing else, you can leave now. Teacher Annie said with a smile. She was very satisfied with Yunfan's performance just now. Yunfan just turned around and left, and hadn't walked far. Suddenly, a female voice came from behind. Student Dante has a very profound knowledge of magic runes. I want to ask Student Dante some questions. Is it okay? Yunfan turned around and saw a very beautiful girl standing there, looking at Dante with bright eyes. Who are you? Yunfan asked casually. Elena. The girl replied. I seem to have heard this name somewhere. Yunfan thought for a moment and frowned and said to himself. I'm not a dark student. My teacher is Belinda. This time I saw a lot of magic runes on Student Dante's skeleton warrior. I don't understand a lot of those magic runes, so I want to ask you, Student Dante. Elena said a little embarrassedly. Of course, if you have any questions, you can ask me, Dad said with a smile. Elena didn't have too many expectations. After all, the questions she wanted to ask were not something that ordinary people could answer. In the study of magic runes, she was born in a magic rune family, and the knowledge she learned was much more advanced than that of ordinary students of the same age. She didn't think that Ji Yun's level was much higher than hers. In her opinion, there was definitely a giant standing behind Ji Yunfan. Student Dante, this is the magic rune I copied from the skeleton warrior. Although the drawing is not very accurate, the general outline should be correct. As Elena said, she took out a piece of paper from the space ring and saw some mysterious patterns engraved on the paper. Chapter 68 Exploration. Boy, this little girl's talent is really extraordinary. She can copy so many magic runes just by looking at her for a few times. If she has a good teacher, she may become a god-level magic rune master. God-level magic rune master? Alchemy is divided into many categories. You should know this. Magic runes are a very important branch of alchemy. In the Kuska continent, alchemy is divided into 9 levels, but in the transition of gods, the classification is different from here. You don't need to know these things now. It won't be too late for me to tell you when you can become a god in the future. Sakadin said. As we all know, magic runes were first mastered by the gods in this world. The runes we master now are actually simplified versions of the magic runes of the gods. In the process of the evolution of magic runes, many castrated versions appeared, and the magic runes I carved were found in the ruins. There are certain differences from the current magic runes, so there are certain obstacles for you to understand. Ji Yunfan explained. If there is anything you don't understand, I can tell you. Then what is the function of this rune? Ji Yunfan glanced at the rune pointed out by Elena, and he saw the problem with the rune at a glance. Although you have drawn this rune 90% similar, it is only drawn from memory after all. Being able to draw this far also shows that your foundation is actually very good. Ji Yunfan took out a pen from his space ring and added a few strokes on the paper. You can regard it as a combination of the gain rune and the strengthening rune among the 36 basic runes. With the help of the ring structure, a cycle is completed, and the power of the rune can be fully utilized. After reading and absorbing the memory of the lower gods during this period of time, Ji Yunfan's understanding of various magic runes has reached a very high level. Almost all attributes and types of magic runes can be said to Ji Yunfan, not to mention these runes that he carved by himself, which are not difficult for him at all. I didn't expect that there is so much knowledge in this most basic rune. It seems that I have always regarded this basic rune as too simple. Elena felt a sense of enlightenment after hearing Ji Yunfan's words. Basic runes can be said to be the foundation of all runes. The development of any rune cannot be separated from the basic runes as a foundation. Many people know the facts, but not the reasons, so they can only copy and paste when carving runes. Only when you truly understand them can you perfectly carve them and bring out the power they really should have. Ji Yunfan said seriously. Ji Yunfan looked at the sky and saw that it was getting late, so he said, "It's getting late now. I have some other things to deal with, so I'll leave first. If I encounter any problems that I don't understand again, can I come to ask you?" Elena asked. "I'm naturally very happy to serve a beautiful woman. If you still have any questions, you can come to me." Ji Yunfan smiled slightly. The gentle Elena reminded Ji Yunfan of his first love in his previous life, so he agreed without thinking. "This is not in line with your personality, kid. How could you agree to that girl? Are you interested in that girl?" After such a long time of getting along, Sakadin also had a certain understanding of Ji Yunfan's personality. "Sakadin, do you know that your tone now makes me feel very uncomfortable?" Ji Yunfan smiled. "You kid is still so petty." "Okay, don't say so much. Although the strength of the skeleton warrior has been greatly improved after my transformation, I don't think it seems to have exerted its full strength. I think there are still some problems with these two runes." Ji Yunfan suddenly summoned the skeleton warrior and pointed to a rune on it. "You have drawn these two runes very perfectly. What's the problem?" Sakadin paused for a moment and said, "I don't mean that there is a problem with my carving." "What?" "I think the structure of these two runes is not perfect." "Oh my god. Kid, what are you thinking? These are runes left by the ancient gods. How could there be structural problems? Is it impossible for the gods to make mistakes? Yunfan asked back. You are really unreasonable. You are a blasphemer. Wasn't I one before? Aren't you a god? Aren't you my slave now? You bastard. Okay, Sakadan, do you really think the structure of these two runes is perfect? Actually, I have suspected it a long time ago, but once I talk about this matter, I will be scolded by my father. He has warned me more than once not to mess around. It seems that there is some unspeakable secret in it. Look, even you said so. Besides, we are just trying to modify it. If it succeeds, it succeeds. If it fails, it doesn't matter. As a god, you don't even have this courage, right? Forget it, do whatever you want. Anyway, I can't stop you. But I need to remind you that the basic rune is the basis of all runes. Is that really the case? If so, how could there be so many variant runes? Sakadan, don't you think this is full of contradictions? I think you actually want to know the truth. Yunfan said seriously. It was late at night, and many students had already fallen into sweet dreams. Yunfan was sitting quietly meditating, and putting his brain into a simulation state. After a period of adaptation, he had completely mastered this special property. In his mind, he decomposed the process of carving runes step by step. Almost everyone, including Sakadan, thought that those basic runes were the most basic state of runes, but after a series of simulations, Yunfan felt that this statement was not entirely correct. I think what people say is that atoms are the basis of the composition of matter, and at a deeper level, atoms can be further refined, protons and electrons. Yunfan felt that this so-called basic rune was actually the same as atoms. There were deeper things that had not been discovered, or perhaps they had been discovered, but now some people were deliberately hiding them. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69 Summer. In the dormitory of the academy, Yunfan sat cross-legged with his eyes closed, his hands in a strange position in front of him, his chest rising and falling slightly, forming a perfect cycle between breathing in and out, and between the cycles of breath. There was a faint magical element that entered his body, and at the same time, a shadow of a towering tree appeared behind him. This kid is really different from others. Maybe he will really find something extraordinary. Sakadan looked at the shadow and said to himself. The moment Yunfan finished his meditation, the shadow behind him disappeared immediately. Just a little bit. That feeling is like a thin layer of sand. After taking a deep breath, Yunfan suddenly opened his eyes, and a faint black light flashed in his dark eyes. Boy, I'm now more and more clear about what the tree in your body is. It's like a cheat. I have a feeling that the tree will eventually lead you to a realm that I cannot understand. Welcome students who have recently completed the advancement assessment to come to the intermediate class. Studying in the intermediate class is very different from studying in the elementary class. The focus of learning in the elementary class is on theory, while from the intermediate class onwards, more emphasis is placed on magic practice and the use of magic. Dark magic was actually once extremely prosperous. When dark magic was strong, all undead magic was classified as dark magic. It's a pity that it declined later for some reasons. Dark magic actually covers a very wide range, from the initial element control, to the control of souls to the later bone magic. During the development process, the predecessors continued to experiment and improve, which led to the continuous increase of dark magic spells, and slowly formed a system, and finally became the current system. So I hope that the students can face up to dark magic and let it flourish. The new magic practice teacher Strachey introduced the importance of the practice class in a gushing manner, and some students had already fallen asleep because of using the brain to simulate magic runes. Yunfan's mental power would be exhausted every day. The first 2 times Yunfan exhausted his mental power to the critical point, he would immediately faint. However, later, perhaps because of his adaptability, Yunfan did not faint again. During this period, other students rarely saw him, so the sense of presence brought by Yunfan's last duel disappeared unconsciously. He went to the classes he should attend every day, except for Avril, Kim and others who would pay some attention to Yunfan. Other students did not care at all. What made Yunfan happy was that the process of exhausting his mental power and practicing repeatedly actually made his mental power improve at a speed that ordinary people could not imagine. Boy, you are really a masochist. The feeling of exhausting your mental power is not good. Sakura couldn't help but say. It's just that in these days, although Yunfan's perfect magic rune plan has made some progress, it is not progressing fast. The days passed very quickly. A month had passed since the duel. On this day, Yunfan finished his training. The sun was blazing, and the scorching sun poured down from the sky, making the earth steam. Many magical plants were drooping slightly, retracting their branches and leaves, and looked listless. This is my first summer in this world. I didn't expect it to be so hot. It would be great if there was an air conditioner in this world, Yunfan said to himself. The first summer in this world? Air conditioning? Sakura was stunned for a moment, chewing on the meaning of Yunfan's words, and then said thoughtfully, no wonder I can't bear to leave you. It turns out that you are not from this world. Tell me the truth. Are you also from the world of gods? I don't know where I'm from. The place we are in is called Earth. Although there are legends of magic there, no one has practiced magic. Without the existence of magic, I can't imagine what that world is like. Although there is no magic in that world, the technology is very advanced. What magic can do, can also be done there by technology, and many things that magic can't do, can also be done there. This is the first time that Yunfan talked about his origins in this world. The reason why I came to this world and possessed Dante was because I was doing an experiment at the time. An accident occurred during the experiment. In order not to cause trouble to others, I chose to teleport the laboratory into the black hole, but I was also teleported into the black hole and finally came to this world. I didn't expect there is such a powerful place. It seems that I know too little about this world. If I'm not mistaken, you should have passed through the space wall and crossed the universe to come to this world, Sakura said, but I'm really surprised that your soul was preserved when you crossed the universe. It's incredible. Even a strong man at the level of the main god is definitely not sure. What is the seed that came with you to this world? Is that seed more powerful than the main god? Is it the legendary thing? What exactly is that thing you are referring to? The world tree. The world tree. What is that? Legend has it that this universe was created by the god of creation within the world tree. It can be said that the entire universe is a world tree, but this is just a legend. No one knows the real situation. Even the 12 gods were created by the god of creation after he opened up this world. If it is really the seed of those things, it would be amazing. If cultivated properly, you might be able to open up a universe and become a god of creation. But I think this is impossible. I have never heard that the world tree has seeds. Forget it. Why think so much? What is destined to happen will happen. Besides, that thing is just a small sapling now. Who knows how many billions of years it will take to grow into the size of the world tree. By that time, I may have turned into dust. Boy, you said it very well. By the way, what is the air conditioner you mentioned? That is. Yunfan was about to explain, but suddenly he remembered it, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Although there is no air conditioner in this world now, I can make one. Even if I can't make an air conditioner, I can make a fan first. Chapter 70 Crisis. Speaking of air conditioning, how come there is another fan? What's in your head? Wait a minute, Kit, it seems that someone is coming towards you. Sakura suddenly said, it seems that the guy's target is you, but fortunately I don't feel any murderous intent from him. Hey, it's a bit interesting. That kid seems to have discovered my existence. The man was wearing a black cloak and a white mask on his face. When he saw Yunfan looking at him, he was slightly surprised. I don't know who you are, senior. What do you want to see me here? Yunfan asked calmly. I'm a third level inspector affiliated with the other side. This time I came to arrange an apprenticeship mission for you in the other side. Brother, you are really good. You can discover my existence so early. Even ordinary senior magicians can't discover it. I look forward to you completing the apprenticeship mission and officially becoming a member of our other side. The man took out a scroll and handed it to Yunfan while speaking. What is this? It's a special mission scroll for the other side. Only the person who opens it and the person who publishes it can see it. If other people try to read it by force, the scroll will be destroyed. The man explained. TSK, it's just a simple use of magic runes. As long as you analyze the fluctuations of mental power, you can easily crack it. Sakuden said with great disdain. Oh, by the way, when we are on a mission, in order not to cause trouble in our future life, we try to dress casually. The man said, while taking out a set of black cloak and mask similar to his from his space ring, and handed it to Yunfan. Although the style of this cloak is not very good, it's still okay to wear it. Yunfan said to himself. Yunfan put the mask on himself, and then put on a long black cloak. When he put on the hood on the cloak, half of his face was exposed, and his temperament was completely different, just like the protagonist in the Matrix on Earth. Because you haven't completed the trainee mission yet, you are not qualified to equip some equipment on the other side. I will come to you again after you complete the mission. After the man finished speaking slowly, he disappeared in an instant. This kid didn't forget to act cool before leaving. Really? Yunfan couldn't help shaking his head. Was that a teleportation magic just now? What teleportation magic? That guy just used the shadow magic scroll and temporarily hid his body in the darkness. If you covered that area with your mental power just now, you would have found his trace. Sakuden explained with a smile. Yunfan opened the mission scroll and carefully checked his mission. The scroll said that in a village called Muai, more than 500 miles away from the academy, the villagers disappeared for no reason. So Yunfan was asked to go and check the reason and find a solution. There was not much on the scroll, and it was impossible to tell the difficulty of this mission. After Yunfan remembered the content on the middle axis in his mind, he closed the scroll again and threw it into his space medium. The distance of more than 500 miles was neither far nor near. Yunfan bought a second level horse beast directly in the trading area of the academy. The horse beast was an extremely special magical beast. Although it was a second level magical beast in terms of grade, its character was very docile, and it did not even have any attack power. However, its endurance was very good, so it had been domesticated by humans as a means of transportation. The night was getting darker and darker. From time to time, some low-level magical beasts passed through the forest. Perhaps because they were contaminated with the breath of the Sakuten gods, these magical beasts felt that Yunfan's strength was not too strong, but few of them wanted to provoke him. Yunfan suddenly looked into the distance vigilantly and saw several figures passing quickly in the woods not far away. Yunfan felt a faint murderous aura on these figures. Yunfan couldn't help but frown slightly. He felt uneasy in his heart and felt that these people were targeting him. Sakuden, what are the strengths of these guys? A junior warrior, a junior assassin, a junior mage, and an intermediate warrior. Yunfan took a deep breath and waved his right hand, and the magic wand appeared in his hand. The mental power is released. If the mental power is not integrated with the element, it cannot be used for direct combat, but the magician can directly use the mental power to sense what he sees and hears, which is sometimes very useful. Yunfan always uses the method of releasing mental power to sense the actions of those people. It is actually very difficult for ordinary magicians to release their mental power. Only higher level magicians can barely do this. However, because Yunfan has mastered the subtleties of mental power in advance, he can master this skill in advance. Moreover, the breath of ordinary magicians is easily detected when they use mental power release, but Yunfan's mental power is different. Even Sakuden didn't figure out what was going on. He could only think that it was Yunfan's talent, which could hide his tracks, and was very suitable for spying on various situations. Yunfan took out an invisibility scroll from his space ring, and then activated it. The moment the scroll was activated, his breath and figure disappeared without a trace. The moment Yunfan disappeared, the four people suddenly stopped and disappeared without a trace. Yunfan's mental power quickly detected the situation of several figures in the distance. Through his mental power, Yunfan saw three people in black robes hiding in the shade of the trees. Ji Yunfan hid behind the tree. His eyes penetrated his mental power and detected the actions of the 4 people. The 4 people were puzzled by Ji Yunfan's sudden disappearance. That kid was here just now. How come he disappeared all of a sudden? Did he find out about our existence? This should be impossible. Don't worry, that kid is definitely not far from us. The intermediate warrior looked at the disc in his hand and said, "We have to be careful. The family has already sent word that this kid is very strange. Who knows if he has some hidden tricks? Boss, I think you are overthinking it. To be honest, is it worth sending so many of us to a mere junior magician? Okay, now is not the time to complain. Find that kid quickly. After completing the mission, I still have a good drink." Chapter 71 Search. Boss, do you think that guy might have lost the quest scroll? I don't think so. Even if he lost the quest scroll, we should be able to find it. Now that guy seems to have disappeared out of thin air. Could he be a shadow magician? That shouldn't be possible. From the news that has come out, he is undoubtedly a dark magician. Do you think that kid is hiding his abilities? Otherwise, how could he defeat our young master? If that is the case, he must be killed. Otherwise, if this kid grows up, it will be very disadvantageous to our Steven family. Steven family, I didn't expect it to be them. People from these big families and big forces are really not trustworthy. Ji Yunfan was savage in his heart. If I can turn the danger into safety this time, Steven family, I will make you regret what you have done. Wait a minute. From the conversation between these people just now, Ji Yunfan already vaguely felt that he was being tricked. Second, is there something wrong with the magic scroll I received? Yes, there is a very secret positioning magic engraved on it. Others can find your location in a special way. Second, since you already knew it, why didn't you remind me at the beginning? Boy, don't you think this is very interesting? We still have to be careful. It's best to fight quickly. This place is too close to the academy. If we meet a master in the academy, we will definitely die. Are you sure that Dante's here? Of course, you don't believe in our positioning magic anymore. You must know that this is implanted by our patriarch himself, and there will be no problems. Through the chats of these people, Ji Yunfan has obtained a lot of information. The only thing he is not sure about now is when the Steven family tampered with his mission scroll. At the same time, Ji Yunfan felt that the voice of one of them was very familiar. Ji Yunfan suddenly remembered that it was a teacher in the academy. He had met this person in the library once, so he remembered this person's voice in his mind. It seems that the Steven family has a lot of influence, and there are many family members working in Alkaline College. Fortunately, the people who came this time were not too powerful, maybe because they did not take me seriously. Ji Yunfan thought to himself. Ji Yunfan frowned slightly, and Ling released a powerful mental force. Ji Yunfan vaguely felt the strength of these people. It's a bit difficult to deal with. Although Ji Yunfan was very confident in his own strength, he did not think that he had reached the realm of being invincible. Ji Yunfan frowned. If they were all strong people with primary strength, Ji Yunfan was confident that he could easily deal with them. But if there was an intermediate magician among the opponents, it would be a bit difficult. If these guys attack me together, it will be troublesome. Ji Yunfan said to himself. No matter how powerful the little guy is, he is just a junior magician. We have so many junior professionals. Are we still afraid of such a little guy? We can't drag it on like this. Otherwise, if the little guy escapes, we will have to bear the consequences. But the little guy seems to have known our existence. If we want to lure him out, it will be very difficult. It's just a little guy in his genes. As long as we can get angry, he will definitely reveal his flaws. Little guy, I know you are here. If you know what's good for you, come out obediently. Otherwise we will find you and punish you with cruel means. The junior warrior suddenly raised his voice. Idiot. Ji Yunfan thought to himself. Ji Yunfan carefully hid his body and slowly approached the place where the few people were. Although the opponent's strength is stronger than his own and there are more people, the enemy is in the open and I'm in the dark, so it is not impossible to fight. Ji Yunfan believes that he is not a knight and must abide by the rules of knights. Damn it, what's going on? Why do I have a vague feeling of foreboding? It's like being stared at by some magical beast, and it's very likely that I'll lose my life in an instant. The leading intermediate warrior suddenly felt something strange and frowned, as if something strange was watching him in the corner. Although this feeling was very faint, so faint that there was no place to find the source of all this, he could still slightly sense it out of the adventurer's intuition. "What's wrong, boss? Did you find something?" the junior professionals next to him asked in confusion. "Could it be that my feeling is wrong? How can a small junior magician pose a threat to me?" the leading intermediate warrior muttered to himself. "Forget it, be careful, it's always good." After he muttered to himself, he shouted in a low voice, and a fighting spirit shield appeared out of thin air. "This guy's really not easy to deal with." Yunfan frowned. He hid in the darkness, held his breath, and did not move. Yunfan was 100 meters away from the assassins. Although the strength of these guys was not bad, it was quite easy for Yunfan, who had mastered the macro manipulation of mental power, to avoid the detection of several people. However, it was impossible to eliminate these guys without making a sound. The leading middle-level warrior scanned the surroundings and found nothing. His face became a little gloomy, and he said in a deep voice, "Where is that hateful boy hiding? Everyone wait here. Frieza, you go check it out first." The leader of the middle-level warriors groaned slightly. Although he did not think that Yunfan had the strength to pose a threat to him, he was still unwilling to take the risk himself. Frieza was a little depressed, wondering why he was asked to go, but he did not dare to refute his leader's words. He nodded and activated his own fighting spirit to protect himself. Then he carefully explored the surroundings to find Yunfan's trace. "Magicians, be ready to attack at any time. As soon as Dan shows up, beat him up." The intermediate warrior turned around and said to the junior magician beside him. Seeing that the one in front, Frieza, had separated from the main group, Yunfan showed a hint of joy on his face. Being alone was a good opportunity, but how could he attack without being discovered by those people? It was still too much for Yunfan to deal with 3 people with his strength, but if he faced a junior warrior, there would be no suspense. Chapter 70 To counterattack. Yunfan began to think about the advantages he had. If he used dark magic alone, those people would definitely find some clues. At that time, although he killed one person, he would also bring danger to himself. Second, is there any good way to get rid of that person without alerting others? Yunfan asked in his heart. If it were in the past, I would naturally have many ways to solve it, but now you have already lost most of your strength, not even 1/1000th of your original strength. There is no way. There is no way. Why are you saying so much? Who said I have no way? Although I can't get rid of him, but you can do it. Can I do it? Yunfan couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Second, are you wrong? How can I do what you can't do? Boy, you still don't fully realize your own strength. No, it should be said that you don't know what that space magician represents. Space magic is one of the most mysterious magics in the world. This kind of magic comes and goes without a trace, and ordinary magicians can't predict it at all. I see that you have been practicing dark magic during this period, but I think you have completely missed the point. But I don't know how to use these space element. Yunfan said in his heart. I tried to distribute these space element according to the magic base of dark magic, but the magic released has no attack power at all. As a high level magic element, the space magic element is naturally different from other magic element. You can try to integrate the space magic element into your body, control your body as a space magic element, and use mental power to control the position. How to do it depends on your own perception. Yunfan nodded thoughtfully and simulated it in his mind. Soon Yunfan found some tricks. Under Yunfan's control, the space magic element turned into starlight, flew back and quickly merged with Yunfan's body. Yunfan felt that his body was changing little by little. No wonder it is said that the space magic element is a high-level magic element. Other magic element can be said to be magic element, but the space magic element is a 3-dimensional. Yunfan looked at the junior warrior who was alone not far away, and a cold arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. With a thought, his body appeared behind the junior warrior, as if he had jumped in space. Dark arrow. The dark magic arrow was released from his hand in an instant. The junior warrior didn't even react, and it pierced his head at once. What happened? Freeze's eyes were full of disbelief, because when he felt that strange breath, his life ended. After Yunfan succeeded in one strike, he instantly disappeared without a trace with the help of space jump. In the quiet forest, there was nothing but the rustling sound caused by the wind blowing through the trees. At this moment, the guys who came to assassinate Yunfan all looked serious. Things were developing too fast. Their eyes only caught a black shadow, but the black shadow was fleeting. Damn, when did that weird kid make a move? The eyes of the leader of the intermediate warriors were full of haze. Everyone, pay attention. Don't let that kid succeed again. It must be because I didn't pay attention. A kid who was born as a slave servant. What means can I not know? The intermediate warrior laughed at himself, but he still thought that he didn't need to take too many risks. Yunfan, I didn't expect you to be so talented. Although it's just a short distance teleportation in space magic, you can master it in such a short time with your own understanding. Sakadan felt incredible. It's just that using this kind of space magic consumes a lot of mental power. According to my current mental power, I'm afraid that teleporting once more will consume all my mental power. Yunfan shook his head. He didn't dare to release space magic easily again. Yunfan held his breath again and approached several people silently. With the concealment ability of the invisibility scroll, it was difficult for ordinary people to detect his breath. 5 meters, 3 meters, 2 meters. These guys who came to kill Yunfan had no idea that Yunfan was behind them. Suddenly, the intermediate warrior felt a murderous intent locking on himself, and a sense of crisis came through his heart. He was startled, and suddenly turned around, and his fighting spirit burst out. Skeleton warrior. A weird skeleton warrior suddenly appeared beside several other junior professionals. With a knife, a junior magician fell to the ground. What the hell is this skeleton warrior? The intermediate warrior said viciously, and the last living junior assassin was chilled. He clearly felt the murderous intent, but why didn't he find anyone after turning around? Could it be that the guy they wanted to assassinate was a senior assassin? Just when the junior assassin was stunned, a figure suddenly appeared beside him. With a whoosh, a black magic arrow flashed and pierced through the junior assassin's neck. The junior assassin's neck was cut open and blood gushed out. He opened his mouth, but didn't say anything. His eyes slowly dimmed, and he fell to the ground with a plop. Damn it. Watching his men die one by one, leaving him alone, the intermediate warrior no longer had the calmness he had at the beginning. The unknown is the most terrifying. Until now, the leader of the intermediate warriors has not figured out how Yunfan killed his men. But he may never have a chance to figure it out. After losing his men, only his intermediate warriors are left. In Yunfan's eyes, there is no threat at all. Yunfan walked out directly from behind the tree, where he was hiding. Well, you bastard boy are too arrogant. A junior magician dares to stand up and want to fight me head on. The intermediate warrior smiled coldly at Yunfan. Do you think I will come out of the dark without the certainty of victory? Yunfan asked back. Then I will see what you are capable of. The intermediate warrior slashed at Yunfan with the long knife in his hand. Magic shield. Yunfan murmured. Chapter 73 Killing. The sword and shield collided with each other, making a crisp sound. The space flash was turned on again, but this time it did not reach the place he wanted. Yunfan had just studied how to use the space element. Although he had simulated it several times in his mind, he was not proficient in the manipulation of the space element, and made some mistakes. However, the impact of these mistakes was not too great. It was quite good to be able to do it with ease for the first time. If it were someone else, they would have been very satisfied, but Yunfan, a research madman who strives for perfection, was still a little dissatisfied. Boy, what kind of method are you using? The intermediate warrior was shocked by Yunfan's space flash at this moment, and exclaimed in disbelief. You want to know? Yunfan smiled slightly, but why should I tell you? Don't you think it's very interesting to let the enemy die in ignorance? Arsehole, you little ignorant junior, don't think that you can survive from my hands with some weird means. The gap between intermediate professionals and primary professionals is a world of difference. Really? Yunfan's voice just fell. An alloy knife chopped on the back of the intermediate warrior. Although the intermediate warrior had fighting spirit to protect his body, he was still chopped by the alloy knife. A faint bloody smell spread around. How is it possible? What kind of monster are you? How can the skeleton warrior you summoned hold such a sharp weapon? The intermediate warrior knocked the skeleton warrior away and said in disbelief, "It seems that you haven't studied my methods carefully. No wonder the news from the family said that you are very strange and can't be viewed with the eyes of ordinary people. Do you know that? You have completely angered me this time. I will not only kill you this time, but also torture you so that you can neither live nor die. You have to be able to do it." The intermediate warrior took a breath and immediately became alert. Yunfan actually killed a junior magician quietly not far away from him. Could it be that this kid is not as simple as he seems to be, just a junior magician? Thinking about it, the intermediate warrior's arm suddenly exploded. What happened just now? The intermediate warrior screamed in panic and was terrified that he didn't even know how he made the move. If the attack was a little bit higher this time, he would have been killed without any sound. How did Yunfan do it? He was now completely dominated by fear. This is the magic I created, the space blasting technique. I don't know if it's a surprise for you, Yunfan said lightly. The so-called space blasting technique is an improved version of the colorless ball that Yunfan released by fusing the dark element and the space element at the beginning. The power and direction of his magic have become controllable. The intermediate warrior slowly stepped back, leaning against a big tree, staring at Yunfan vigilantly. He never expected that there would be such a day when he would be forced into such a situation by a junior magician. From time to time, bursts of insects and birds chirped in the quiet forest. There was a horrible feeling of being stared at by a poisonous snake, and the hair on the intermediate warrior's body stood up. Seeing that the intermediate warrior did not make any moves, Yunfan did not move either. He just looked at the other party quietly, waiting for the other party to reveal a flaw. The space element in his body have been exhausted, and it is not enough for him to launch a space attack again. He has no chance of winning with dark magic alone. Anyway, it is beneficial for him to continue to drag it out and recover some magic element. Time passed by every second. Dante, why don't you use your weird magic? That weird magic probably consumes a lot of energy. The intermediate warrior asked in a tentative tone. You can come over and try it, Yunfan said easily, as if he didn't care about the intermediate warrior at all. MMP, what kind of magic is this? The intermediate warrior was chilled. He had already sensed Yunfan's condition, but he didn't dare to act rashly. Just when the intermediate warrior was stunned, the plants beside him suddenly grew rapidly, and in an instant, they wrapped him there. A figure suddenly solidified, and with a whoosh, a flash of cold light passed by, and passed across the neck of the intermediate warrior. A cut was made on the neck of the intermediate warrior, and a stream of blood gushed out. He opened his mouth, but didn't say anything. His eyes slowly dimmed, and he fell to the ground with a plop. The intermediate warrior never figured out why those plants suddenly grew wildly until his death. Since he started practicing, he has fought many enemies, but he has never encountered such an attack. However, he never had the chance to figure it out again. Boy, I'm more and more curious about who you are. You can actually control life energy. Even in the god realm, this power can only be used by the goddess of nature. Do you have the blood of elves? But why can't I feel it? Sakurdin suddenly said. I can clearly feel that this power should be given to me by the mysterious seed. Yunfan touched the corpse while speaking. Although the strength of this team is not too strong, they are also affiliated with the Stephen family, so they also have some valuable things on them. In line with the principle of not wasting, Yunfan collected these things. Yunfan carefully checked again and found that he had not missed anything, so he quickly left the scene. He didn't want to stay here. In case the Stephen family sent someone to deal with him, he really had no ability to resist now. After finding a relatively secluded place, Yunfan took out a bottle of primary mental power recovery potion from the space ring, opened the bottle, drank it all, and then hurriedly meditated. 3 hours later, Yunfan's mental power was fully restored. He opened his eyes and let out a long breath. Stephen family, you wait, we are not done with this matter. Yunfan's eyes flashed with cold light. Not long after Yunfan left, another team of people appeared. This team of people was dressed almost exactly the same as the people who assassinated Yunfan, but the leader of this team was a senior warrior. Alas, it seems that we are still a step late. Judging from the signs of fighting, this is not a kind of magic fluctuation. Chapter 74 Magical Shaping. That guy is really not simple. It seems that there are experts protecting him. Is this the work of the royal family? Chief, what should we do now? The tracker is gone now. It is difficult for us to determine the location of that guy now. Since things have developed to this point, if we just go back like this, we will definitely be punished by the clan leader. It is better to go directly to the boy's mission location. In this case, Chief, what are we waiting for? Boy, the tracking mark left on the mission scroll has been removed by me. They should not be able to determine your location now. Sakadin said. Sakadin, thank you very much. Yunfan said. You kid, improve your strength quickly. That's the biggest thank you to me. With your current strength, anyone who is a little stronger can kill you in seconds. Who wants to harm me? I must find out the truth. You kid should think about how to get through the difficulties in front of you first. What? Another team of people dressed exactly like them is coming from the north, and the leader is a senior warrior. If you don't want to fight them head on, you'd better hide now. Senior warrior, I didn't expect that the Steven family really thinks highly of me. Yunfan is still very self-aware. With his current means, he can challenge the first level, but he can never challenge to levels higher. Yunfan hurriedly took out an invisibility scroll from the space ring. The team sent by the Steven family naturally couldn't know that Yunfan had a both like God in his mind, and they were very clear about their every move. Yunfan hid in the darkness, looking at the 5 people sent by the Steven family to kill him. He was gloomy in his heart. He was thinking about how to get rid of these 5 people without knowing it. However, after a series of analysis, he found that the probability of success in getting rid of these people was almost zero. Forget it, I'll think of a way later. Yunfan sighed in his heart. When those people passed by him, Yunfan was also nervous. He didn't let out a long sigh of relief until those people walked away. Boy, the direction those people are going seems to be the direction of your mission location. It seems that they are determined to get rid of me this time. Otherwise, you should give up this mission. Give up. If I retreat because of this little difficulty, how can I become a strong man? On the road to becoming a strong man, there will definitely be countless difficulties. Once I retreat once, there will definitely be a second and third time. Boy, I admire you more and more now. You are not very old, but I didn't expect that you actually understood this truth. If I could have known this truth earlier, I'm afraid I would not have died in that war. Sakadin, I'm not in the mood to listen to you talk about your past here. Although I won't give up this mission, I'm afraid there will be a lot of trouble if I just let it go. How about this? I will teach you a magic shaping technique. Use magic element to change your appearance to a certain extent. Although it will continue to consume your own magic element, if you control it properly, there will be no problem persisting for a while. Sakadin said. I didn't expect that this magic element could be used in this way. Now you can teach me the magic shaping technique. Yunfan was also very interested in the magic version of the disguise technique. Because the two had already signed a master-servant contract, Yunfan could read anything he wanted to know directly, but Yunfan did not do so. In an instant, Sakadin passed the principle of the magic shaping technique into Yunfan's mind. So it's like this. Yunfan simulated it several times in his mind, and then he mastered the key to the magic shaping technique, so he used the magic shaping technique to turn himself into a middle-aged man in his 30s. I want to see how you can find me this time. Yunfan's mind gradually became active. He was very confident that, even if he stood in front of those people now, they might not be able to recognize him. It's just that this trick consumes magic element a little too fast. According to my current consumption rate, it can only last for about 2 hours. Forget it, I'll use this trick at a critical moment. Yunfan couldn't help but shook his head and then lifted the magic shaping technique. After getting the solution, Yunfan did not stay any longer, so she also headed towards the mission location, Konoha village. Do you think that guy will give up this mission? Several people have been waiting at the destination for a while and have not found Yunfan. This possibility is also very high. Let's wait a little longer. If that guy doesn't come again, we will go back. These people chatted one by one and did not notice that a middle-aged man in his 30s was not far from them, secretly listening to their conversation. The middle-aged man was Yunfan. After using the magic shaping technique, "You bastards, I'm clearly in front of you, but you can't recognize me, so don't blame me." But to be honest, the mission that kid took is really interesting. Even if that kid comes, he will probably get nothing. An intermediate magician suddenly laughed. "Kenan, what do you mean? Don't you think the dark element are a bit active in this place?" The intermediate magician named Kenan asked back. "Now that you said that, it seems that the dark element are quite active. What did you find, Kenan?" "Chief, do you remember the news that came a while ago? It seems that the demons have shown signs of resurgence. You said that this place might be related to the demons? Although I'm not completely sure yet, but," Kenan said as he looked in the direction of Yunfan. Yunfan was startled and quickly turned his gaze to other places. "What's wrong?" "Nothing, Chief. I think there is something wrong with the middle-aged man over there. He seems to have been eavesdropping on our conversation." The senior warrior also looked in the direction of Yunfan. After looking at Yunfan for a long time, he said, "It seems that there should be no problem with that guy. Are you overthinking? Besides, we have other things to do now. Don't make trouble." "Yes, Chief." Several people responded. Chapter 75, The Strange Konoha Village. Yunfan breathed a sigh of relief and thought to himself, that was a close call. But to be honest, what the hell is this demon? "Kid, this situation may be caused by a demon, so I think it's better for you to stay in the car now," Sakuden suddenly said seriously. "What exactly is a demon? Are you so afraid of a former god like you? Kid, even the lowest level demon is not something you can deal with now, so listen to my advice. It's better to go back and get help." "Is it really that serious? What the hell is a demon?" The war of the gods back then was launched to kill the gods of the demons. Some high-level magicians had some accidents when they broke through, causing their bodies to mutate. This mutation made them lose consciousness and become zombie-like monsters. This monster is called a demon, Sakuden explained. "Now you know the danger, right? Sakuden, it seems that the demon has a great influence on you. You have lost your normal judgment now. If it is really the demon, I'm afraid that the number of missing people will be more than now." Yunfan shook his head. "If this is really the work of the demon, let's leave quickly. It won't be too late for us to deal with that kid later." At the same time, the members of the Steven family have begun to back off. Seeing that the people of the Steven family have left, Yunfan breathed a sigh of relief, but then a trace of unwillingness flashed in his eyes. "Forget it, my current strength is still too weak." Yunfan walked around the entire Konoha village. This so-called Konoha is a village. It is more like a small town than a small village. In the tavern. "My friend, I heard that many people in Konoha village have disappeared recently. Do you know about this?" Yunfan found a booth and sat down, ordered a glass of fruit wine, and said to the waiter, "No matter where the tavern is, it is the most mixed, and generally a lot of gossip can be inquired from here. Brother, I advise you not to ask around. Listen to me, drink this glass of wine, and leave Konoha village quickly," the waiter whispered to Yunfan. Yunfan was slightly stunned after hearing the waiter's words. "It seems that I know what's going on after listening to what you said, brother." Yunfan took out a few silver coins from his pocket and put them on the table. "Tell me about it. I'm very curious about this matter." "This, brother, I advise you not to ask so much, otherwise you will get into trouble." The waiter looked at the silver coins and was a little tempted, but finally shook his head and said, "Do you think I gave you too little?" Yunfan said as he took out 2 gold coins from his pocket and put them on the table. "These are 2 gold coins, which are what the waiter earned after working for a year." His originally firm heart was shaken a little, and the expression on his face changed again and again. Finally, he hesitated for a moment and said, "Don't spread what I told you. Don't worry, my mouth is always very tight." Yunfan smiled slightly. "Actually, this matter should start from one day 3 months ago. The business in the wine museum was very good that day, and I was busy until late at night before I got off work. On the way home, I heard a very strange sound, so I slowly walked over following the sound. Guess what I saw? What? A monster more than 9 feet tall was biting a person. I was scared to death at the time. I turned around and ran. I didn't dare to look back at all. I ran all the way home. What did the monster more than 9 feet tall look like? Did you see it? Yunfan asked hurriedly. What did the monster look like specifically? Because I was very far away at the time, I really didn't see it. I only knew that the monster had a long tail, just like a werewolf. Werewolf? Sakan, what do you think about this matter? Yunfan asked in his heart. It's hard for me to judge from what this kid said, but there is one thing I can be sure of. The monster this kid said is not that strong. Otherwise, he would not have let him go. In fact, many people in the entire Konoha village saw that monster, and some even said that the monster ran out of the village chief's house. The waiter looked around and found that no one was paying attention to him, so he whispered, could this matter really be related to the village chief of Konoha village? Yunfan muttered to himself. Little brother, can you tell me about your village chief? Our village chief is the most powerful person in our village. It is said that when he was young, he was the leader of an adventure group, but later he retired to Konoha village for some reason. He is very kind to other people in the village. Basically, he would help anyone who needs help. Gradually, his prestige in the village rose, and then everyone elected him as the village chief. But in the past year, the village chief is no longer as kind as before. Sometimes he becomes very irritable, and no one has seen the village chief for half a year. It seems that this so-called village chief may really have some problems. Yunfan nodded thoughtfully. I don't know about this. Don't tell others. This is what I said. You should know that there are many admirers of the village chief in our village. If they know that I say bad things about the village chief, I'm afraid they will beat me to death. The waiter said, a little scared. Don't worry, little brother, I will never tell anyone. By the way, where does your village chief live? Yunfan said, throwing another gold coin on the table. Turn right after going out the door, and walk past 3 intersections. You will find a large courtyard. That is the home of our village chief. The waiter said as he picked up the gold coin. Thank you, little brother. Yunfan thanked him, stood up and turned to leave the tavern. There are quite a few people who have been asking about this news during this period. I haven't 3 gold coins again. After Yunfan left, the waiter raised the gold coins he got from Yunfan and said, I really don't understand why so many people want to die. Boy, there is something wrong with the waiter just now. What? That boy is not a human. Not a human. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.